What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout spot where you already know it's Real Talk Boxing Talk, live from my man cave. It's your boy Johnny, and I am your host for another edition of the Hangout Spot Live. This time, the Tuesday night edition.
Let's get ready to rumble! Here's Johnny.
And I just want to welcome everybody back on this beautiful Tuesday night, man. We've been rocking out. We've been working overtime the past week, man. Last week, we did 4 shows in 3 nights, including 2 banging interviews. One with the legendary Jim Lampley, the voice of boxing. The other one with a undefeated featherweight, Keith Tsunami Cologne from Newark, New Jersey, who's 6-0 with 6 knockouts. They were both in the building. Let's not forget, we did a live fight chat for my man, the WBO welterweight champion, Brian Norman Jr., on Thursday morning. And then in the evening, we did a recap show with Brian Norman Sr., who came on as a special guest. We also did a 3.5-hour show this Sunday night where we were taking callers. We had hella callers. We had a great panel. We were talking about the Canelo Alvarez versus Bud Crawford press conference in New York City that got spicy. And we are right back at it with another great show tonight. Tonight, we have a very, very special guest. You know, we got to show the ladies love, bro. We got to show the ladies love here in the Hangout spot, bro. So we have undefeated bantamweight who is 9-0 in the building, fresh off an exciting split decision win a couple weeks ago at Caribbean Royale, Orlando. I was there present. We have Naomy Cardenas in the building in just a few minutes. But y'all know the deal, man. There's ground rules here at the Hangout spot, man. If you are live watching this on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button as it will help us grow. It is free, and it will help us get this channel out into the algorithm of other boxing fans so they know we rock out weeknights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also doing Sunday shows. We're doing live fight chats. We are doing post-fight lives where we open up the phone lines. We're doing it all here at the Hangout spot, bro. So make sure you smash that like button and share the channel if you're watching this live on Facebook and on millions.co. Make sure you throw me a like. More importantly, come on over to the Hangout spot. The next ground rule is you must subscribe to the channel. That is also free, and it will help this train grow into a locomotive in 2025 and beyond. In order for us to do that, we're going to need some more passengers on this train. So make sure you subscribe. More importantly, tell a friend so we can continue to grow. And last but not least, y'all know the deal. Chat participation here at the Hangout spot is a must. It is a must. However, if you want to get in a comment that you want to make sure gets read or a question either for myself or my guest, Super Chat is the best way to go. You know the deal. We are cooking here at the Hangout spot. A lot of chat activity. It's hard for me to be able to decipher what the questions are compared to what the chat comments are. The best way to get that across is via Super Chat because those come up as a starred message. And, you know, your boy is always going to look out because if you look out for me and you throw me a donation, I'm definitely looking out for you. So that's the way to shoot a brother a bone. And if you want to make a donation via Cash App, that is scrolling down below as well. We put together another 10 Super Chat. Go any Super Chat of any denomination. It could be $1, $5, $100. It doesn't matter, bro. Any penny counts. So it'd be nice if you guys can help me get to my goal so we could continue to support the channel. It grows, and we could continue to get these interviews both in studio and boots to ground. But without further ado, like I said, man, exciting young fighter out of Mexico. She is coming off an exciting split decision win over Bree Howling, 2 undefeated fighters that headlined in Caribbean Royale, Orlando, on a Most Valuable Prospects MVP card a couple weeks ago. Again, yours truly was in the building, and that fight was absolutely fire, entertaining. We had to get the winner of that fight on the channel because this is how we do it up. So without further ado, I want to bring in bantamweight undefeated contender out of Mexico, Naomy Cardenas is in the building. Champ, how are you? Your mute button is on. How are you? Welcome to the Hangout spot.
Hello, I'm fine, thanks. Thank you for the invitation for your interview.
No, thank you for coming aboard. Like I said, your fight at Caribbean Royale was absolutely exciting. And I knew it was going to be exciting. It was the main event for a reason. You had 2 undefeated fighters, you against Bree Howling. She came in as the favorite. But, man, you came to fight. And it was a hell of a fight. The fans were going crazy during that fight. and you win by split decision. Congratulations. But before we get into the fight, what I want to ask you is this was your first fight. You're 9-0, but this was your first fight in the United States. All your other fights have been in Mexico. How did it feel to fight in the United States for the first time and get a win?
Well, I was very excited because I know this is a big opportunity for my career. This is opportunity that I was looking a lot of time, but um, everything was very different. In Mexico and USA, it's so different. The promoter and the people, the fighters, all the things are so different, but it's a great experience. I'm so happy, and I'm very proud.
You should be. It was a great performance. How early did you get to the United States before this fight? Did you get here the week before? Did you get here a couple of weeks before that?
No, I arrived to Florida 4 days, a few.
4 days before the fight?
Yeah, 4 days after before the fight. Yeah.
So I was there live. I was working the fight, and you had a lot of fans there cheering for you. How many family members attended this fight?
Oh no, only my father. Only my
Really?
father and who is also my manager, and he accompanied me and my coach. I'm so that's it's so insane because I don't know where was the people. I don't know where there are because I don't have even how many accompanied. I'm alone with my team.
Right, but
I'm listen. My coach, my dad. I listen. Some people as are screaming "Traca" or "Viva Mexico," and I'm told, "What happened? What happened with all of these people?"
I know, that's why I thought that a lot of the fans were your family members. You had a lot of people cheering there. It was good though because you also had another Mexican that was fighting on the card. That was Tony Aguilar,
Yeah.
who's a friend of mine. He fought in the undercard as well. So that was actually good. But man, you had a lot of people cheering for you. And I think it's because of the way you fight, because you like to
Yeah.
fight.
When the event finalists, some people come with me, and he have the shirts of Tony Aguilar, and he and all that people told me, Paisa, we are Mexican, and we are here for share you, and that's incredible. I'm so happy for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm here with undefeated bantamweight Naomi Cardenas, who's 9-0 with 2 knockouts, coming off a big split decision victory over Bree Howling, who was the favorite coming in. So, talk to me about this Bree Howling win. It was a great performance, but how tough was that fight?
I know beforehand that it will be completed fight because she's a great fighter. She's so strong, so brave. She all the time go to in front. I enjoyed the fight. I throw all the punches of are in my back. I have my back and I come on all my punches come on to get above the ring. And so but um I know it's a very complicated fight and fighter because it wasn't as difficult as I expect.
It
She's
wasn't
not.
it wasn't as difficult as you expect?
No, I'm arrived to Florida thinking she's the favorite. She's a great fighter. She's undefeated, and I thought to myself, we have the same record. We can do this work, but isn't that I expected.
So you were when it went to the decision, were you worried because she was the favorite that they could potentially give her the victory instead of you, even though it appeared like you outworked her?
thinking she can win to me, but I know all my work on the ring. It's uh it's good. It's brave to keep with us the decision. I'm not sure if the result is a slim decision, but the huge looked at, and I can't see anything about that.
So you weren't surprised at all, obviously, because again, she was the favorite.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
she's a favorite, and she didn't expect it. She didn't expect it. All my punches, all my brave, all my strong. Uh, his face, it's like, what the fuck?
that. Did she hurt you at any time? Did you feel her power at any time in that fight?
I think and I feel two times, and her right hand, it's so strong, and she connects me like two or three times, and I say, what's happening here? But her hands up and go in front and go for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That was a very, very good fight, a close fight. Would you consider giving her a rematch? Is there talk about you potentially fighting her in a rematch?
Of course, but I don't know if she will like.
Did they ask her about it? Like after the fight, did they say there would be a rematch, or you haven't heard anything about that?
No, I don't hear anything. I don't talk with she before and after the fight. But I think maybe she thinks we can make a rematch. But I'm here. Uh, I'm here, and I'm fine. I'm prepared for when she wants to make a rematch.
So for those of you guys in the chat, Cardenas, Naomi Cardenas just said her phone is here and she's picking up that phone if they call her for that rematch. I love it. I love your confidence, man. You are oozing with confidence. But how would you rate your performance?
My performance, I think it's brave, it's strong, and a lot of physical condition, and and a lot of punches. It's my that's my performance. I come to Florida for make a surprise, and I think I'm good. A fine job.
I agree. You did an excellent job and you throw a lot of punches. You're a volume puncher. You like to beat people with volume. You fight like a male Mexican fighter.
Yeah, that's my style.
That's your style.
Yeah.
I could definitely tell. Um, I am here with Naomi Cusa Cardenas, who is 9-2 knockout. She's in the building, bantamweight contender. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you haven't done that. Subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend, and let's keep the chat continuing to cook. So, champ, tell me, um, when let's go back a little bit to when the journey started. When did you start boxing, and what inspired you to be a professional fighter?
Well, I think there really wasn't any inspiration. And now I think that's bad. Because I only want to know what it feel like, what it feel that like adrenaline, but I like it. It's a great idea starting boxing because I love it.
What age did you start boxing?
Um, 30, 38, yeah, 38.
Wow. Was that like your dad pushing you? Like, do you have brothers and sisters that fought?
And I have a little brother, and he comes to the gym, but he comes only for a hobby. And I'm just looking for him, like, bored. And I think I want to try. I want to get inside the ring. And my brother doesn't like the boxing, and he got off. And I'm still.
Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. How old is your brother?
My brother now he have 20.
Okay. Okay, so that's the younger brother.
Yeah, my younger brother. I have 25 and he has 20.
Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome. So you don't think he's gonna become a fighter? Is he fighting now?
He's a fighter?
Is
No,
he?
he don't. He don't. I also have other brother. He has 11, and he are starting to the boxing.
Okay, that's good.
But
That's good.
only I don't have any family in this sport.
Okay, and does your father train you?
And no, my brother don't train me.
Okay, okay. And where do you train out of? Where do you live and where do you train out of?
Okay, I'm living in Chihuahua, Mexico, and my gym's name is Avalos Villajuarez. My coaches are Picos Montes and Cholo Macias. That's
Okay,
my coaches.
so you're from where Canelo was born?
No, no, he is born of Jalisco. I'm
Jalisco, I'm
born
sorry.
in Chihuahua.
But there's plenty of Mexican fighters that were born in Chihuahua.
Yeah, some fighters born in Chihuahua.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a couple that were born there. I remember, and good fighters, really good fighters. I just can't
Maybe
remember the damn name.
maybe Luis Hernandez
That wasn't the
or
name I was.
Marco Reyes.
Maybe Marco Reyes, but there's
Yeah,
somebody else I'm
Chihuahua.
forgetting.
Chihuahua have a champion, Jamilet Mercado.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Boxing City, that's what's up. In
yeah.
Mexico, is that where you're at now?
Well, what?
Is that where you're at now, at home in
And
Chihuahua?
no, here's in our place.
Okay, okay. So how many amateur fights did you have before you turned pro?
Between 20, 25, 25 fights. And because when I was a child, it didn't have a lot of fighters, maybe one or two or three only. And but I'm obtained a national bronze.
Okay, good, good. Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
have a good amateur career.
Very good, very good. No, and you're off to a great start. See if you could put the phone a little bit closer to you because I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
Okay, there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's actually really good. Like, try to keep it as close to you as possible.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so that's good. That's good. You're off to a good start too. You're 9-0. Tell me, what is the nickname? What does Kusa mean, and why did you pick that as your nickname?
Okay, kusa it means eagle, an eagle. But in kusa it's a word in Raramuri. It's a language of here of Chihuahua for the
Okay.
natives for Chihuahua, and they name it's Tarahumaras or Raramuri. And I listen this word kusa, and I think I'm like it. It's original
Yes.
and means um the place where I am.
Okay, so it represents where you're from.
Yeah, and I'm the same. Um my vision is the same like an eagle because I wanna fly. I wanna be a great champion, and that's all.
I like that. She wants to fly like an eagle. That's awesome. I like that. Um, what is the most what do you like to do the most? What's your most favorite thing to do in training? Is
Hmm.
it sparring? Is it mitt work, speed bag?
First, I doesn't like the run,
You don't
but
like
I
to
do
run?
it. I don't like the run, but I do it. The most for my training, I think the butts. and the sparring. I love to make sparring
Okay,
because I make sparring with the guys, with the boys, and it's interesting.
that was gonna be my next question. Do you spar with male fighters?
Sorry, you can make your next question.
I know. So you spar. So every camp you spar with you spar with male fighters.
Yeah, I'm sparred with a men fighters. Uh, the most people in my gym are guys, so they can help me. So
That's
sometimes I make sparring with some girls, but it's for me helps.
okay. Okay. And how many rounds approximately do you spar before a fight?
Uh, when we go to fight 8 rounds, we make 9 or 10.
Okay.
My last 3 fights, it be for 8 rounds.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Are you already back in the gym? Because that fight was a couple weeks ago.
I'm in the gym. Yeah,
Mm,
this week I come.
that's awesome. Congrats. That's good. Right back at it. When do you plan on fighting again? Did they tell you maybe a potential date? And will you come back to Florida to fight?
Yeah, maybe I can fight to August, or maybe because I have or I don't know how say lesión. I have a problem in my hand, so I
Okay.
need to go
Oh,
to physical therapy, and yeah, and when I feel good of my hand, I can come again for the ring. But this week I come for the gym because I can't lose time. I need to be training.
we have a translator in the chat that said that means injury. I know that I kind of figured that out. I do understand everything in Spanish, so if you want to say something in Spanish, I'll understand it. But speaking it, mm. No mucho bueno.
Okay. Yeah. I apologize because I don't have a very good English.
I think you're doing absolutely fine.
Thank you.
You are doing fine. We're here with Naomi Cardenas, who is 9-0 with 2 knockouts. So tell me, what female fighters have inspired you? Maybe inspired your fighting style.
Okay. That's interesting because on my gym, when I started, there was a girl who was already boxing when I started. She was older, maybe 6 years more, but I think I carried her style. She was a professional boxer, but she only have maybe 6 or 7 fights. But I think all my style comes for she. I'm uh, all the time I was looking she, and I was trying to learn.
Okay. What about are there any other female fighters that that are some of your favorites to watch? What about some of the male fighters that you like to watch?
Okay, maybe the women's. I think Jackie Nava. You listen of she, Princesa Azteca. Uh, Alicia Baumgartner. I love her box. And Laila Ali, and more older Christy Martin
Ah, so
because was a pioneer. Yeah.
I interviewed Christy Martin a long time ago. I interviewed her twice. She's great. Have you ever met her?
What?
Have you ever met Christy Martin?
No, we don't meet here.
Well, I guarantee you, if you ever fight in Florida again, more than likely you'll see her. She goes to mostly. She wasn't at that fight though. That was the only fight she had gone to. But she goes.
Okay.
She goes to all the Florida fights, almost all the Florida fights. She's Tony Aguilar's promoter.
Okay. I don't know that, but that's great. maybe when I go to fight to Florida, if I can, I want to meet you.
You will definitely meet her. We can make that happen. She's really, really cool people. If I'm there, you're there, we'll make that happen for sure.
Okay.
Okay, great. That's a good list. I like the Layla Ali. I like
Yeah.
Baumgartner's great. She's gonna be fighting July 11th. There's an
Yeah. Yeah.
all-female
I
card.
know.
You know about that all-female card, right?
Yeah. That's incredible because I think it's all the fighters, all the female fighters are incredible. I think I'll look. I'll here's fight, and it's gonna be a awesome Carter.
It's gonna be amazing. The main event, Amanda Serrano against Katie Taylor. Who do you see winning that fight?
I don't know. I love all the last two fights, but this one I don't know what gonna be the decision.
Who are you rooting for?
I don't know. I don't have a favorite.
Okay, okay. What about some of them? Do you have male fighters that you like to watch?
Okay.
Who are some of your
I'm
favorites?
watching. I think some Mexican fighters like Julio Cesar Chavez, Gallo Estrada. You know him.
Oh yes, we know them all here at the
I'll
Hangout
hear
Spot.
fight with Chocolatito. Incredible. And I like the Shina Maidana style. I think I have a little bit of him.
I think so. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. A lot of punches from different angles. You like to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good comparison.
I
Uh,
need to meet here.
you need to meet him
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. You mentioned Julio Cesar Chavez. His son is
Yeah.
fighting Jake Paul Saturday.
We need to see that fight.
Will you be watching that fight? And who are you? Do you think Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. can beat him?
I think Julio Cesar maybe can win, but he needs more discipline. He needs that, and I know Jake Paul. He was a very disciplined athlete. I know he's not a boxing um, for the I don't know the word. No podemos comparar, vaya. Eh,
Uh-huh.
we can compare the
Right.
career of Julio Cesar Chavez and Jake Paul, but I think it's gonna be a great fight, interesting fight. That's the word.
Very, very interesting fight. I'm interested in that as well. It depends on what Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. shows up, right?
Yeah.
You know, it all depends. But one of the questions that I got in the chat from one of my viewers and callers and great guy is Chad from Canada.
Uh-huh.
He said to ask you who's better,
Who's
Canelo or Julio Cesar Chavez?
Julio Cesar Chavez father or
Well,
his
father,
son?
the legend. Who's the better Mexican legend between
Julio Cesar
Canelo and
Chavez.
Julio
For
Cesar? She didn't
me,
even
Julio
hesitate,
Cesar
Dad.
Chavez. I don't have any words.
Good. There he goes. Look, Canelo or Chavez. You heard it right here. She did not hesitate, bro.
Chavez is the
She
boss.
did not. She did not hesitate. Julio Cesar Chavez. She said it's a bow.
I don't need to think that answer. I know Chavez.
Okay. So have you ever met Julio Cesar Chavez Senior?
No, I think I can look him in I how I can no an event, an amateur event, but at distance.
Oh, at a distance. Okay. So hopefully one
Yeah.
day you get to meet him. Meet him.
No, no, I can. Here's from Sinaloa. It's
Sinaloa.
another country. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. But he
Other
be at a lot
state.
of different
Sorry, other state.
other state, but he he
Yeah.
he he's always at fights. So
Yeah,
there's a chance he can be at one of the fights that you fight on.
maybe someday I can have the chance to meet him.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Do you like to watch other sports?
I like the all the contact sports only, and the group sports, and I doesn't like that. I only like the punches and the blood here.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here, man. Naomi Cardenas, man, she just want to fight. She just want to fight, and she's so lovely, and it's crazy how she just wants to fight. And if you guys have never seen her fight, she fights. Watch that fight, main event headliner 2 weeks ago, Bree Howling. Bree Howling came in as a favorite, and she's totally outworked her. It was a tremendous fight. Again, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What do you like to do when you're not boxing? What are your hobbies?
When I'm not boxing, I just sleep and read and be with my family all the time. Yeah,
So
I
you
don't
just
have
like
a lot of hobbies.
okay. Is that because you're always do you watch a lot of boxing? Like, do you watch a lot of old fights? Do you watch the fights, that are like Saturday night? Are you usually home watching boxing?
Yeah, I'm all the Saturday that night. I was with my father and looking for the fights and learn about other fighters, and it's only that.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Student of the game. I like it. I like it. One of the questions that one of the callers had here, Treese, Toledo Treese, he's from Ohio. He said, "What are your thoughts on bare knuckle? Do you watch bare knuckle?
I watched some fights for bare knuckle, but I don't know if I can fight in there.
You wouldn't do bare knuckle, right? It's better to lace them up with gloves, right?
I don't know. I
You
prefer
got
the gloves.
boxing to worry about. You got a bright future in boxing.
Yeah, I need to do all the things I can do in the boxing. I want to be a champion, and I gonna try first.
Absolutely. I think you got a really, really good shot. How long you got 9 fights. How long do you think how many more fights do you think you need to win in order for you to get a title shot?
Maybe one or two fights.
Really? Okay.
I
Okay.
have some message for people, and I'm watching that opportunity.
Very good. Very good. And do you plan on staying at bantamweight for a while? Like, do you feel comfortable making the weight in bantamweight?
Maybe bantamweight and superfly.
Okay. Okay. So you can move up. So you're probably going to be moving. Would your next fight be
Uh,
at super flyweight?
I don't know. First, I want to do something on bantamweight,
So you'd like
but
to win a title first. You'd like to win a title at bantamweight before you move up.
yeah, but if the opportunity comes before, wait, I gonna take that.
If you could predict your next opponent, who would you want to fight next if you had a choice?
Mhm. I don't know. I was look some fighters. Rihanna Rios is very interesting.
That's a good one.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good opponent, and some other opponents.
I think the chat said Carolina Dubois is in that weight division.
What? I'm sorry, I can't listen to you.
I think somebody in the chat mentioned Caroline Dubois. Is she at bantamweight right now?
I don't know. She.
Think
I don't
so.
remember his name.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta double check that. She might be a bantamweight. That would be a really good fight for you down the road. But take your time. You're only 25.
Yeah.
You have a bright future. Only
I
9 fights.
I don't want to run if I doesn't know walk.
You gotta learn how to walk before you can run. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
of
I like
course.
that. I like that analogy.
I need to
Um,
be patents.
yes, yes, yes. I agree. Patience is key. Continue to get better and better. That way, this was a big step up for you
Yeah.
because again, a lot of people were predicting that Brie Holland was going to win that fight, and look at what you did.
Yeah, I come when a surprise for all that people.
Yes, you did. It was a great surprise. Again, that was one of those fights where I was like glued to it, watching it because it was just so entertaining.
Yeah.
And when your coach reached out and I said, "Yeah, absolutely, I got to get her on the show, man. She has a really bright future." And then I saw you after the fight when they interviewed you, and you had so much energy.
Yeah, I have a lot of adrenaline. I told my father, I don't know what I say in the interview, but I speak a lot of things.
You did fine. You did absolutely fine, and you did it in English.
Yeah, and I doesn't know. I can't speak English.
I think you're doing a perfect job. I really do. If you were not a boxer, what would you be?
um, I think I will practice my car as a lawyer. I'm a lawyer, and or will made for car modifications. I love the cars.
You love cars?
Yeah.
So do you like to watch NASCAR and all that stuff?
No, the classic cars.
Oh, you okay, I got you. You're into classic vehicles.
Yeah.
Do you do can you work on cars? Or you like can you do mechanic work?
My father have I don't know how I can say taller
Mhm.
of carrocería, and
Okay.
so I know work that.
Okay. That's good. Do you have a classic car?
Yeah, a Ford 18.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, that's good. What are your favorite foods? What do you like to eat? And yeah, what are your favorite foods?
I love the ice cream, but it's not a food. I think all the salads and maybe the rice balls or pizza and sushi.
Pizza. Okay. You got to go to if you like pizza, you got to go to New York City. Have you ever been to New York City?
No, but that's my plan to go to New York City.
You got to get a fight in New York City in Madison Square Garden, man. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. Again, we're here
Cross
with
your
Naomi
finger.
Cardenas, man. She's in the building. Do you like to watch movies?
Yeah, I like the horror movies maybe.
You like horror movies?
Yeah, but and the children's movies.
Okay, okay. What are your some of your favorite movies?
Shrek. I think it's Shrek.
Correct. So if I was to ask you to give me a movie that Johnny, you got to see this movie. You would tell me Shrek.
How I can listen to you.
So if I was to ask you, give me one movie that I should see that you liked, it would be Shrek.
Shrek. Yeah. Maybe Shrek 1 or 2.
Okay. All right. All right. So again, we are here with Naomi Cardenas. Kusa's in the building, 9-0 with two knockouts. What is the one food that you have a hard time cutting out of your diet when you're in training that you like to eat?
mm, I don't have problem with that.
Okay.
I don't have any problem because I don't like the cookies or the candies. I don't need. I don't eat that, and I don't have problem to cook my food.
Do you have somebody that cooks it for you, like a nutritionist that cook it for you?
Yeah, I have a nutritional.
Okay, that's
I,
good.
I
That's
have
good.
I have a team so strong. My how I can say preparador físico.
To prepare
Uh,
physically. Yep.
yeah, him My physiatra, my nutritional, and my coaches. I have a lot of people with me and going for this dream.
That's awesome. Somebody in the chat asked me what type of music do you listen to? Who's some of your favorite singers, artists?
I don't have a favorite artist, but I listen rap, rock, maybe Mexican music, regional mexicano.
See, yo sé.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good.
I listen a lot of music. I don't have some favorite.
What's your favorite punch to throw during a fight? Is it the overhand right? Is it the left hook? Is it a body shot? Because you do a little bit of everything. So
My right hand is very strong. I
you have a good
know.
overhand right.
Yeah, you see that, and my
I I
cross.
I I did see that. Did you have a chance to talk? Like, did you and Bree Howley talk after the fight?
No, no, we can talk.
Okay, no, I thought sometimes in the locker room, they'll come, you guys will come together, congratulate.
No,
I thought maybe
I don't see she. No, no.
okay. Okay. So yeah, so when is your next fight? You said possibly in August?
Possible August. Yeah. I told you. I send you a message when I know when gonna fight.
Perfect. Yes, let me know. That way I
Okay.
can announce it to the viewers and maybe we could bring you back on so you could talk about it. Do you plan, before I let you go, do you plan on fighting on Most Valuable Promotions again? Was this your first fight on there?
If them call us, I can fight with most valuable.
So did you like fighting for them? Would you consider
Yeah,
fighting for them again?
yeah. I like fight uh, with his.
Okay, good. Because I tell you, man, you fight. So usually they don't have a problem signing, female fighters. You know what Jake Paul is doing? He's signing a lot of female fighters. So,
Yeah,
that's some
he was making a great team of female fighters.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully you could be a part of that team.
Maybe one more time, cross the fingers.
We'll do both of them. We'll do both of them. We got one of our viewers, Stock Chasers, my brother, with the $2. He said, "Ask Naomi how she felt after her split decision. Did you learn any lessons in that fight?"
Yeah, I have a lesson on my hand.
No, I
Uh,
mean, so yeah, I do. Well, Stock. So you just tuned in. She actually has a little bit of a hand injury, but is there anything that you learned from that fight?
okay. I'm sorry. I
No,
don't
you're good. You're
understand
good.
fine.
No, you're good.
um, I think I need to close more the space, maybe, and I think um, all the fighters are strong. We need to train very hard for can stay in a ring with some of that opponents. My lesson is work hard, make a work hard.
That's awesome. That's awesome. This was amazing. This was an amazing interview, and you did a phenomenal job talking English. I know we
Thank
spoke
you.
about it before. Just so you guys know, we spoke before the show, and Naomi was a little nervous because of her English, but I think she did phenomenal, and I think you guys would agree. Um, so what do you want to tell your fans? What do you want to tell your fans that are watching right
Um,
now?
I only can say thanks. Thanks all the people for watching my fights, for be watching or look my career. I wanna make biggest things, and thank you. It's all.
Now I want you to tell your fans in Spanish. Tell your Mexican,
Okay.
tell your Spanish fans right now in Spanish. What do you want to tell your fans in Spanish? Open it up.
Ok, estoy muy agradecida con toda la gente que se dio la oportunidad de ver nuestra pelea. con la gente que está al pendiente de nuestra carrera y que pues tenemos la intención de hacer grandes cosas y las vamos a hacer, estoy muy segura de ello.
Phenomenal. A mí me gusta mucho. Esta entrevista era espectacular.
Thank you.
You did an amazing, amazing job. Anytime somebody comes to the hangout spot, they family. You are family. So you are welcome back anytime. And let me know when your next fight is announced so we can bring you back and we can talk about that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
All
gonna
right.
do that. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you for you. It's a pleasure.
No problem, man. Take care, okay? We'll keep in touch.
Okay. Goodbye.
All right. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, man. Let's give a shout out to Naomy Kusa Cardenas, who's 9-0. She was in the building. She did a phenomenal job, bro. And let me tell you something, man. Again, shout out to her trainer. I actually worked that fight a couple weeks ago at a Caribbean Royale. I was boots to ground. That was the most valuable prospects card. She was headlining, bro. Her and Bree Howling, 2 undefeated female bantamweights, were headlining, and they didn't disappoint, man. There was some good fights on the card, some really, really good fights on the card. And these 2 females in the main event put on a show, man. It was a back and forth action affair. And she ended up getting the nod by split decision, a well-deserved victory. Again, she outworked her, man. She fights like she's Mexican from Chihuahua, Mexico. She fights like a Mexican volume puncher, a lot of overhand rights, just, she's not afraid to mix it up. And you heard during the interview, she liked to fight. And she's such a lovely young lady, the way she carries herself. I thought this was a phenomenal interview. She was very, very nervous. So her coach reached out to me and said, it'd be nice if you would be able to get my fighter on. And I knew who he was talking about. And I was like, absolutely, man. Does she speak English or am I going to have to get a translator? And he said, nah, she should be able to hold her own. She speaks pretty good English. And, we had a conversation before. She was nervous, but I told her, just let it fly. Now, I do want to apologize. There was a little bit of a lot of background noise. We were having that issue before the show started, but he didn't have any headphones. So, we had to work through it. We weren't going to cancel. Sometimes, in this, not just in this business, in life, bro, you face adversity and you just got to deal with it head on and you just make it work. And I thought we did a good job in making it work. Can I get an amen?
Amen, brother.
For real. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the interview. I did as well. She family. We'll get her back on once we get a fight announced. And again, she's one of those fighters that fights, at a fast pace. And I wouldn't be surprised. Don't get me wrong. Mark my words right now. I would not be surprised if she ends up signing with, or they end up signing her with Most Valuable Promotions, because that's what they're doing with the females. And when you can fight like that and you're exciting and you put on those type of performances, there's an opportunity that maybe they might bring her aboard. We may see her on one of those cards, that we're going to see on July 11th. Epic card, New York City, Madison Square Garden, the big room, being headlined by Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Part 3. Dude, I mean, some of the male fighters, let's keep it real. Most of the male fighters now are fighting in the Hulu, the small room. The females are selling out or are going to sell out. They've already sold out the big room at the Garden. They're going to sell out the big room again on July 11th. That's going to be an epic card, all females, top to bottom. And because of that, we doing some big things here at the Hangout Spot. We are having a ladies' night episode at the Hangout Spot because, we show the ladies love, bro. We got female fighters that we come in here and interview. That's how we do it. You got to show the females love because the females are not afraid to get up in there and fight and go undisputed and unify. They ain't afraid of that smoke. She wasn't afraid of that smoke. She said it. So here at the Hangout Spot, we show the ladies love. So we're doing a ladies' night episode that's more than likely going to be next Tuesday night, July 1st, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know the deal. Where we're going to have, besides myself, okay, we're going to have an all-female panel, man, of female podcasters that are just absolutely doing their thing right now. We're going to have In the Ring with Christine. She's going to be in the building. She's going to be co-hosting with me. We've had her on the show in the past. She's going to be here. She's also working with my man Norbs in the 10-8 podcast, Norbs at All Network. She's doing her thing over there. I think I saw Norbs in the chat earlier. Shout out to you, Norbs, if you are still in the chat. So she's going to be on co-hosting. Y'all know my girl Chevy Red, my sister Chevy Red from Chevy Red's Corner. She's going to be in the building. We're trying to get our sister. Y'all have seen her on the panel. Y'all have heard her on the panel. She be cooking with me. 1212 Sports Society from TikTok. We're trying to get her on the panel. It's going to be an all-female panel. We're going to be talking about that whole Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor card. They're going to break it down, and I may have a surprise for you as far as a female fighter guest we're working on. So we got to show the ladies love. So y'all got to come through next Tuesday night, July 1st, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, ladies' night here at the Hangout Spot, all-female panel. We're going to absolutely cook. The only way we know how to do it. I appreciate y'all in the chat. Thank you, Stock Chasers, for the donation and the question, and thank you guys for shooting your questions. I was able to see some of the questions. We didn't have as much chat activity as we usually have on other shows, but I did see some people that said that they'd be willing to translate next time. Stock Chasers said that. I believe my man Dwayne Styles was in the building. He said that. Yeah, if I do need a translator, absolutely. But yo, I wanted her to take a stab at it, bro. Let her take a stab at it, bro. I thought she did a good job, man. It wasn't perfect, but it's all good. You know, I mean, you got to give her credit, bro. She got up on here and she did her thing, bro. She did her thing, bro. Alberto, what's up? Yeah, ladies' night gonna go up. You know how we doing it up here. Ladies' night and they're feeling right. I'm not a singer, so. What up, sis? My sister, Superwoman 607, is up in the building. What's going on? Appreciate you. I'm sure she's going to be rocking out with us next week. Ladies' night, Tuesday night. We are trying to finalize that and have an all-women's panel so we could talk that boxing shit. And we're not just going to talk women's boxing. These women are going to talk male boxing as well because they get down. They cook, bro. They absolutely cook, bro. Stock Chaser said Johnny Spanish is that New York City. I can't defend myself. Spanglish from East Side Harlem.
It smelled like a toilet full of nasty ass shit, okay?
You ain't joking, though. My shit is Spanglish to the core, bro. I spoke English in our household growing up. And I don't deny that, but it has become a little bit of a detriment. So I'm working on my Spanish because I'm missing out on a lot of good interviews, boots to ground with some great young Spanish fighters because I'm like, damn, my Spanish is kind of trash, man. And y'all know me, I'm a perfectionist, especially when it comes to this interviewing shit. So I want this shit to be semi-perfect. You know, I know it's not going to be always perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I want my shit to be quality. That's how we rock out here at the Hangout Spot, bro. Quality shit, bro, that we giving y'all, man. I'm my own worst critic. So for me to go out there and just chop up an interview, I might as well not do it. But that's not the right attitude either. I gotta conquer that. Because I'm the type of dude that if you throw a challenge in front of me, I'm gonna try to just not just go walk through it. I'm gonna try to just run it over. You know, so that's a challenge that I've put out there for myself for the rest of the year. Definitely 2026. I want to see myself doing a lot more Spanish, English to Spanish interviews, especially boots to ground. Again, I go to a lot of these fight cards, and you know, there's a lot of these young Spanish speaking, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, you know, that I could be interviewing right there, boots to ground, right at the end of the fights. And it's like I kind of shy away from it. But you know, we're gonna make it happen. You know, you ain't kidding. LR9 vlogs, you ain't kidding. I need to learn Spanish. I know Spanish. I can understand everything in Spanish. I can read it. I can somewhat write it, and I can speak it casually, like Spanglish type shit. You know, I can speak Spanish. I could get by. But when it comes to an interview, especially a structured interview with somebody that just speaks that fine Spanish, whether it's Mexican, whether it's Puerto Rican, Mexican, you know, Dominican, everybody has their own style of Spanish, right? It gets tough for me. You know, I can understand it, but then I'll start speaking it and then I end up the sentence in English. So it just, you know, it just doesn't sound good enough for me able to say I'm going to take a stab at it, but I can definitely understand it and get by. But y'all cooking in the chat, man. Again, man, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do so. We got to get this channel out into the algorithm. other boxing fans have to know that Hangout Spot rocks weeknights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on the weekends, we just did a 3.5-hour Sunday call-in show. That one started at 7:30. And we're going to be doing that on the regular because there's hella fights that are going to be going down on Friday and Saturdays, in the summertime. So we got to recap them. No better time to recap them than the next day. We may even go live after these fights. If something crazy happens, we'll go right live after these fights, open up the phone lines, talk that shit. And we may go live on Sunday. I don't care. We may start going live every night. We may start going live every night. I ain't afraid of work. I proved that last week, bro. We ended the show at midnight. I ain't go to bed till like 1:30 in the morning. We were up again 6:15. We were back at it 7 o'clock in the morning. We did a 4.5-hour show after Brian Norman Jr. knocked the shit out of Jin Sasaki, knockout of the year candidate. And we were right back at it in the evening, bro. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We had Brian Norman Sr. in the building breaking down that performance. If you guys haven't seen any of those episodes, make sure you check it out. If you're watching this live on Facebook, throw me a like. Come on over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so, while you're there, pick up the phone, tell a friend and tell a friend. This is how it's going down. Congratulations to everybody in the family that helped me get to 2,000 subscribers last week. Now we are probably a little less than 80 shy from the next goal, which is 2,100. Then we get to 2,500. Then we get to 3,000. Y'all guys going to help me get there. But the only way to do that is to spread the word. If you're watching this live on millions.co, which is my new home where I sell my merchandise, my website, make sure you guys come on over and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. This is how we doing it up. We are growing. By the way, y'all, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m., we have a special start time. We're going to go a half hour earlier because we got to accommodate the WBO welterweight champion. Brian Norman Jr. will be in the motherfucking building tomorrow. My brother B Norm the Storm, fresh off his knockout of the year candidate, will be in the building tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. at the Hangout Spot. One of the first people to interview him because, we family. We family. We at the Hangout Spot. We at the Norman Spot, whatever y'all want to call it. But B Norm the Storm will be on the channel tomorrow night, so make sure you guys tune in, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brian Norman Jr., the welterweight champion, will be in the building. And we got a lot to talk about, not just what happened in Japan, but I don't know if y'all saw, I was on the Boxing Voice panel last night. And once again, this is the second time that I pull up to the Boxing Voice and I throw a mention. I'm sorry. I'm going to toot my horn here. I'm sorry. Because this shit can't be a coincidence. I toot my horn, or I'm going to toot my horn because this is the second time on a show back-to-back that I've been on that I mentioned I want Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney to fight next. I love that fight. I said it to Bill when I was on the panel. Brian Norman Sr. popped up. Yesterday, I said it to Ness. I don't want no Haney against Tank. I want Haney for Brian Norman Jr. That's the fight I want next at 147. And I don't know if Bill Haney was listening. He had to be because less than an hour, he put out a tweet talking about we coming after. We looking for these dudes named the Normans, bro. We looking for them. This was less than an hour. I said that shit on the Boxing Voice, and y'all know Bill Haney listens to the Boxing Voice. And all of a sudden, Brian Sr. ended up on the Boxing Voice panel. Bill Haney ended up on the Boxing Voice panel. They went back and forth. And now, potentially, there could be a Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. fight in the very near future. Might be the next fight. And if that happens, yeah, I'm going to take just a little bit of credit in putting that word out there to make that shit happen. That's right.
Let's go, Chad. My man.
I'm sorry, man. I ain't going to front, man. That's the fight that I want. So there's a lot to talk about, and we definitely going to bring that up tomorrow because I just saw that Junior put a tweet out in response to that. I'm going to share my screen in a second so that we can talk about that. My man, the big boss, Bandalorian in the building, my brother. My bro, Johnny, salute. You my brother too, Bandalorian. See you August 23rd in the O. That's what's up. I love it, bro. I love it. I see you gonna swing by. That's good. We had a good time the last fight working that fight card. There's another card before that, I believe on July 18th. I'll be in the building for that one. Maybe hopefully you could get into the building for that one as well. If not, definitely I will see you August 23rd. You know I'm gonna be there pulling up the hangout spot. We don't play no games. We putting in that work, boots to ground. My brother, the Bandalorian, I appreciate the $2 donations. We are now 8 super chats away from our goal. If y'all want to help a brother out, let me know. Let me know. But yeah, we're going to open up the phone lines because there's a lot to talk about, bro. There's a lot to talk about because it's a conversation that that really, really caught my attention today on the Boxing Voice earlier. And it had to do with elite fighters. More importantly, what is an elite fighter? What do people consider an elite fighter? And I thought that would be a great, great conversation to open up the phone lines for. Or we could talk about Brian Norman Jr. clapping back. In fact, let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all this real quick. Man. Stand by. Make sure y'all smash that like button if y'all have not done that. And please subscribe. I'm looking. Did I get any subscribers, man, since I've been live, man? I mean, that shit would be a travesty if I haven't, man. Come on, man. I haven't gotten any subscribers since I went live. Come on, man. Y'all got to do better, man. Call somebody. Tell a friend to tell a friend, man. Let's go, man. Let's make this shit happen, bro. We got to get up to 2,100, bro. We not satisfied with 2,000. But yeah, man, I just want to show y'all right now that the Normans are watching. We know Senior watching. Senior be on all the shows. Senior be in the chat. Sometimes he comments in the chat. Sometimes he doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he's listening right now. Shout out to Coach Brian Norman Sr. If you are listening, you know he is a supporter of the channel. We've had him on multiple times. But as you can see, this was a tweet that Bill Haney put out yesterday. I'm on my job looking for this tough guy named Brian Norman Jr. with a question mark. If you see him or his dad, tell them Devin Haney is looking for him with the money bag and the eyes. And my man B Norm the Storm responded, you don't have to look for nobody. I'll pull up to y'all too.
Let's go, champ.
Come on, man. Bill got to stop it, bro. I love Bill Haney. I do, bro. I do. I love Bill Haney, bro. But Bill got to stop the cat because he talking shit about sending a contract over during yesterday's conversation while we were live. I could pull that shit up if you want. Senior wasn't having it. Ness confirmed from his people at Top Rank, confirmed with Jolie Mazzone and Adrian Clark, who are Brian Norman Jr.'s managers at Fighters First Management. Shout out to them. We've had Adrian Clark on the show, they family. And there was no damn contract that was sent, bro. Even though Bill was talking that shit about check your emails, we sent something over. Stop the cap, Bill. Like Brian Norman Sr. said yesterday, bro, you pump faking. And it's okay. At the end of the day, it's okay. But keep it a buck. But now you can't back down because the smoke is that. I mean, the line is drawn in the sand. You know what I'm saying? Like you saying, you told him on yesterday's panel, and I was on there, and I was just loving every minute of it while they were going back and forth. By the way, absolutely,
My man.
you said, don't worry about it. The next fight will be Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. So let's make that shit happen. Let's make it happen. Let's make that shit happen. So we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, I want to take some phone calls. Let me pin the link to the chat because I did not do that accidentally. My bad, y'all. My bad. We just had a really, really good interview with Naomy Cardenas, nicknamed Kusa, 9-0 with 2 knockouts. She was in the building from Mexico, and she did a good job. She did a really good job. Her English is coming along, and it's very, very well. I just put the link to call in the chat. Let me see if I can pin that bad boy in there. Let's see if we can pin that bad boy in there. Bear with me, brothers. Right now, I got the message pinned to support the channel, bro. If you want to get a Hangout Spot t-shirt or hoodie, make sure you check out the site on millions.co. I've put the link in there. I actually lowered the price a little bit for both. Taking into consideration shipping charges because I'm not trying to rape nobody. Y'all family, bro. So check it out. If you can, support the channel. Get yourself a Hangout Spot t-shirt or a hoodie. We got all different colors and sizes, all the way from extra small to 5X. We got men and women's cuts. All colors, all sizes, reasonable prices. So definitely check those out. I'm going to put that link in the chat as well if you want to get if you want to support the Hangout Spot family, your boy, and cop a t-shirt or a hoodie. That's where you can get it. And yeah, man, I know people have been asking me for hoodies and t-shirts, but I just pinned the link to the chat if you guys want to call in. Let's talk about this proposed Brian Norman Jr. Devin Haney's proposed fight. Hopefully that happens, or the elite comment, because not sure if you guys saw the interview that Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford did on the GOATS podcast, which was produced by Ring Magazine, but it was hosted by Shaquille O'Neal. You also had Tom Brady on the panel, as well as Dana White. And they interviewed, or Shaq was actually the guy asking the questions, and he interviewed Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. What I didn't know until the end of the interview is that interview happened before the Canelo Williams Skull fight. I thought it happened recently, like maybe a week ago. So not sure what the hell happened there. So, excuse me. Anyhow, they go back and forth, and there was a part where Canelo questioned Bud's resume and said that he hasn't really fought anybody who was elite. And then Bud claps back and says, well, you know, Victor Postol wasn't elite. Ricky Burns wasn't elite. No, I don't believe they were. But that's crazy because he does have an elite opponent on his resume, which is Errol Spence Jr., in my opinion. I also think that you could probably consider Sean Porter an elite opponent. Let's not forget when he fought Gamboa. Gamboa was one of those fighters that was on the cusp of top 10 pound for pound. When he fought him, again, an Olympic medalist. So there were some other names that he could potentially have thrown out that would have been less of a, I don't know about that, but he threw out for some reason Ricky Burns and he threw out Victor Postol. But Bud is not really a talker like that. So maybe that question or maybe that that comment from Canelo caught him off guard. That happens. I don't hold him to that. But what that did was it sparked up a debate like, well, what do we consider an elite fighter? Because when people started saying, well, Sean Porter's on that list, Sean Porter's not an elite fighter or was never an elite fighter. Errol Spence, I consider Errol Spence an elite fighter at the time, especially going into that fight where most people, a lot of people were picking Errol Spence to win that fight, including myself. We got it wrong, but let's not get it twisted, right? 2 undefeated guys, 2 kingpins in the welterweight divisions, multiple titles on the line. Then you have people calling in the boxing voice. Errol Spence was not elite. So what is an elite fighter? That's the question that I want to pose out there. But more importantly, I think it's good for us today in the Hangout Spot to classify what constitutes an elite fighter. Like, what are the qualifications? Because again, it's a subjective question, just like the pound for pound list. You ask 100 people who are your top 10 pound for pound, you're probably going to get 90 different answers. Definitely about 98 different orders. It's a subjective list, right? Everybody has a difference of opinion on who should be on that list based on their resume, based on what they think a pound for pound fighter should consist of, right? So those guidelines of what makes a pound for pound fighter, what makes an elite fighter, have to be established before we actually say, is this person a pound for pound or elite fighter? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, I blurted something out at the boxing voice that maybe I shouldn't have blurted out. Well, you know, if you're a champion, you should be considered elite. That's not true. So I take that back. But what I will say is if you are a multiple champion, you've won multiple titles, especially in multiple weight divisions in your prime, then yes, I think at some point you are an elite fighter or you should be considered an elite fighter. Because let's think about this, guys, for a minute. And don't forget to smash that like button. Good debate, good dialogue here in the Hangout Spot. But again, there is no right or wrong answer. So call in, voice your opinions. When fighters are young, what do they strive to be? What is the status that they want to be when they finally make it to the top? They want to be a world champion, right? How many fighters say it? You know, when I was a little kid, I dreamed of this moment of becoming a world champion. Becoming a world champion isn't easy. Now, I will tell you, it can be a little bit watered down in today's day and age because of so many damn titles that they have out there. That I will say. But being a world champion is nothing to sneeze at, right? It takes a lot of work, hard work, determination, and beating quality opponents to get to world championship status. So that's a big deal. But if you can do that and you can do it multiple times and then you can move up in weight or and capture another title, and you can beat, other top contenders, and yeah, I think you should be considered an elite fighter. There's three things that I think should be constituted as an elite, or that you should look at an elite fighter. Obviously, titles, right? Opponents and skill level. There are fighters that are good fighters, but then there are elite skill level fighters. So that has to be put into the equation as well. So I have my list of who I think are elite fighters. And I think that everybody on the top 10 pound for pound list, if you make the top 10 pound for pound list, you have to be considered an elite fighter. I don't think that anybody would argue with that. But again, who do you consider an elite fighter? And more importantly, what do you think are the qualifications that makes an elite fighter? That's the conversation that I want to pose here. And if anything, I'd like to walk away from this show with a baseline of what we consider, at least here at the Hangout Spot, with the Hangout Spot family, what we consider, what our qualifications are for an elite fighter. So the phone lines are open if you guys want to call in. I will play a clip of that video in just a second. I want you guys to hear. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I want you guys to hear that. I did clip it up. In fact, let me play that right now before I take our first caller. So bear with me for just 1 second so I can cue this up real quick. Smash that like button, y'all. Obviously, this is the interview on the GOATS podcast featuring Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, and Dana White. This is compliments of the Ring Magazine on YouTube. So video credit goes to the Ring Magazine, and this is Shaquille O'Neal asking Canelo Alvarez the question about Bud's resume.
Listen to what you say. You said Bud only had one big fight in his career. Do you really feel that way?
You know, and if you look at his career, don't get me wrong, okay? He's a good fighter, a great fighter. I always say before I see him calling me out and want to fight and everything, I see before. I say before he's a great fighter. But if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter. Just mention me one elite fighter.
So Postal wasn't elite?
Who?
Victor Postal.
Who's that guy?
Oh, so he wasn't commercialized. He wasn't a great. Ricky Burns wasn't elite.
What? 40 years old champion in that moment beat Mr. Postal in my gym. I saw that.
So Ricky Burns wasn't elite.
Ricky Burns doesn't elite.
Okay,
he's not elite.
It's cool.
Is there a champion?
I'm going to fight another elite.
There is
fighter
a champions, good fighters, but elite fighters is different. Wait.
So I'm gonna fight an elite fighter in September.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we're
gonna find out.
Then we're gonna find out.
That's nasty work, bro. Shout out to Bud Crawford, man. Again, Bud is not a big talker, bro. He won't fight. So I give him credit, man. But yeah, Ricky Burns and Victor Postal, when you got names like Errol Spence and Errol Spence and potentially Sean Porter, Gamboa early in his career. I mean, those would have been better names to throw out. And again, another qualification that I want everybody to think about is the timing, right? There are times, right? So even in every sport, right? We got guys in sports that are good in a certain era, but aren't as good later on in their career. In their prime, they are. I've always considered qualifications for a Hall of Famer in every sport is you had to be considered at least one of the best at your position for at least a sustainable amount of time, 4 or 5 years at the top of your game where people think, he's one of the best first basemen. He is the best cornerback. He is the best wide receiver. If you can do that over a 5-6 year span in your career, put up big numbers and win, I think at the end of the day, you should be considered a Hall of Famer. But that's just me, because I think it's hella easy to get into the Hall of Fame nowadays. Like, I think the qualifications obviously aren't the same as back in the days. And me, I hold the Hall of Fame to a different standard. You got to be the best of the best. Not the good, not the all-star. I get it. You can be an all-star player. It doesn't mean that you are one of the best that ever played the game or ever fought. In boxing, it's a lot easier to get into the Hall of Fame. But talking about elite fighters, I think that's a very, very interesting conversation. So I do want to open up the phone lines. Again, I got some people back there. Make sure you guys can subscribe. And I smash that like button. Let's go out to Jersey Bob first and foremost. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Chilling, man. What's going on?
I heard it. People talking about elite fighters, so I just look at I'm just bringing Rolly Romero can't be elite. He can't really fight. He's not skilled. I don't care what he wins, titles, whatever. He's not an elite fighter. And by elite, I mean if he fought like Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy, come on, man, they knock him out in the first round. So I mean, there has to be a skill level with an elite fighter. I don't care what his accomplishment. Rick Morton,
Well, I did
he might have.
mention that. I did mention that. I said
He,
I think it should be titles, it should be opponents, and it should be skill level. I said all three of those. That's just my three.
yeah. So he beat Vernon Forrest, but he he never would be considered a great fighter. He didn't have he could win a fight, of course, but he didn't have skill. So yeah, Mario Good can't be no elite fighter. He can't. I don't care how many belts he wins. He's not an elite fighter. You have to have skill. Now you have to have some kind of accomplishment, but you gotta be skilled. Too many of these guys, like I mean, it's too many of these guys out here, man. They won belts. They're not elite. Elite is different. Elite, you know it when you see it. So, you know, I mean, I see Canelo talking, man, but the elite fighters, the best three fighters Canelo fought, he lost to, in my opinion. He
Okay.
lost to Floyd. He lost to Triple G. I don't care what the judges say. He lost to Troy. He lost to Bivol. Those are three big guys he fought. He lost to all of them. To me, but everybody like, oh, Canelo. I don't know how you feel about that, Johnny. Were those the best three fighters he fought?
Yeah, I mean, you can say those are the best. I mean, but if you really look at his entire resume, though, I mean, he's fought a lot of top level fighters. You know,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, but I see your point. I mean, I kind of see your
um,
point.
but how many of them fighters are elite? Caleb Plant's not elite. Billy Joe Saunders, they're not elite. I mean, what are we talking about here? These dudes ain't elite. Yeah, he won. He beat guys that had belts. How many of these guys was really elite that he beat?
You mean elite when he fought them?
Yes, Caleb
Like
Plant
for
never
example,
been elite. I mean, I like
Kovalev,
Caleb.
like Kovalev.
Kovalev,
Kovalev at
man,
one point.
Kovalev was washed.
But
Kovalev
that's
was
that's
super
what I'm
washed.
asking you. I'm asking you about the timing because Kovalev at one point was an elite fighter at light heavy,
Yes.
or
Okay, but when I mean, let's bring that name up, and I hate. I'm about to bring. You know, when you fought Kovalev, that after Kovalev was in alcohol rehab and was washed up. Now you like, oh, he beat up. No, stop, man. Kovalev was nowhere near what he used to be. So yes, if you because that's what some people do. They use some name. Okay, Kovalev. Yes, at some point, Kovalev. Yes, the Kovalev he fought. Stop, man. That dude was nowhere near elite, nowhere near elite. So I mean, you can't even throw Kovalev. To me, you can't throw Kovalev. Like Billy Joe Saunders, he was undefeated. Canelo beat him. Okay, Billy Joe Saunders was a good fighter, and he's a good fighter. Nowhere near great. I never thought he was great, and he was undefeated. I didn't see it. He's a good fighter. So, but that's what I'm saying. There's too many people like throwing out the word elite. I mean, just like we were talking about the Hall of Fame. There's no Hall of Fame anymore. It's the Hall of Good.
Mm,
All sports. There's too many dudes and women, men and women in the Hall of Fame. They don't deserve it. You know, people was talking about earlier. Tracy McGrady is not an elite basketball player. Why not? The dude never won a playoff series. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Because I was talking Trace McGrady, he didn't get out the first round. How he's an elite player? Johnny, how's he an elite player? He never got out the first round of the playoffs.
well,
You ain't
see,
elite.
I get it, but he does match one of your qualifications, which is skill. So
Yes.
I guess what you're looking at is that the elite player has to have a little bit of what I said, right? You have to be a winner, and in boxing,
Yes.
obviously that means the pinnacle of the sport, which is winning titles. And when I say titles, I mean plural, not just one title. You have to be you have to obviously beat quality opponents. So like you have to win like in your comparison to basketball, right? You got to be able to win playoff series and play well against other teams, and you have to have that skill level.
Yeah, so I agree with you all three of those things, and it's a mixture. But when I saw Shane Mosley live, I knew he was elite. I saw him in Lansing at 135 pounds. I'm like, yo, that dude, that's a great fighter. That's an elite fighter. Period. If you
Mhm.
watch Roy Jones, he's elite. Now, somebody like Bernard Hopkins, you watched him against the Roy Jones fight, maybe you like, well, I don't know. But you see over his career what he accomplished, he was elite. James Toney, I'm talking about James Toney was elite. He fought 160 and he won heavyweight fights. So, but a lot of these current fighters, they're not elite. Devin Haney's not elite. He's undisputed. I don't see it. I don't see where he's a great fighter. I just don't see it. It's me. I don't see it. I ain't seen him fight a great fight. Maybe if he fight Brian Norman, which would be good, maybe I'll be like he's elite. But beating George Kambosos can't prove nothing to me. You can't prove you're elite beating George Kambosos. Sorry.
Got you.
And I know he beat Lomachenko, but I mean, Lomachenko ain't on my top 10 to 135 pounds I ever seen in my life. Sorry, he's not. I mean, yes, he made some dudes quit and all that stuff, but come on, Pernell Whitaker, stop, man. I don't know. I'm like my dad, man. My dad used to love Bill Russell. And I was like Michael Jordan. So I guess I'm like my dad. These guys I saw when I was younger, but I just know these guys was better. I don't care.
So before I get to some other callers, I got a lot of
Yeah.
people. So I'm gonna have to put a few people on the panel.
Yeah. Okay.
After this call. But so who do you consider elite? Give me the short answer. Give me 3 people right now in boxing that you consider elite.
Right now, in a way.
Right now. Okay, that's
In a
one.
way, Bam Rodriguez.
2.
And I'm trying to think. And Usyk. Usyk,
You don't
cruiserweight. Usyk, man, beat Fury. Usyk is elite. There's
so
3
you
right there.
okay, and those are 3 good ones. You don't consider Shakur elite?
I mean, I love Shakur, man, but he ain't been a chance to prove it. He just hadn't proved it. I love Shakur.
He's won
I
titles
need
in
him to
multiple
fight
divisions.
Tank.
He's won titles in multiple divisions. He definitely has the skill level.
He hasn't fought that guy yet.
I'm throwing it out there. Okay, Tank. You don't consider Tank elite?
Tank, no, not at all. Who's he beating? I'm sorry, yeah. And people are like he was a champ. Man, stop. Who has he beat? He got to prove something to me. Beat somebody. Beating Ryan Garcia proved nothing. Beating these other dudes he beat, I don't see it.
I'm just asking. Do you consider Boots elite?
Same thing. He got to beat somebody. I in my heart of hearts, he's elite, but I wouldn't. As definition, we're going to define it until he got to beat somebody.
That's
He
fair.
got to beat somebody. I love Boots and Shakur, but I can't really call them elite right now. They just haven't had that chance to beat somebody. They need to beat somebody. That's why Tank's not elite. He's never beaten anybody. I don't see him beat. He hasn't beat anybody, in my opinion, that's elite. He never beat an elite fighter in his life. He's never been an elite fighter. I don't care. I look at his resume. Who's he beat that was elite? Nobody. Shoot, I used to think Mike Tyson was elite. I found that he wasn't. Mike Tyson wasn't elite. We love Mike Tyson. We was waiting for his fights, all that stuff, but was he elite? Was he ever elite?
It's a good argument. Absolutely.
Michael Spinks was scared to death. That wasn't even a fight. Michael Spinks quit. Scared to death. Half them dudes was scared to death. When Buster Douglas stood up to him, then look where his career went. Was Mike Tyson ever elite? I don't know if he ever was. Maybe some other. I saw all them fights. Now I think back, was he ever elite? Or was them dudes scared to death?
That's why I like having this conversation. But I
All
love your
right.
take. Bro. Everybody,
I thought you got.
I want everybody's opinion. Not just of who you think is elite, but what you think constitute as an elite fighter. Let me get to some other.
All right, man. Yeah, hopefully we can come up with something, but it's tough. But I mean, it's just certain guys who everybody can say the Michael Jordans, the LeBron James. We don't really have that in boxing. There's not guys like that dominant, in my opinion. But all right, man. I'll talk to you.
I got you, bro. Appreciate you, Jersey Bob. Alberto, can you hear me?
Johnny.
What up? What up?
Hey, no, that was a great interview you did earlier, Johnny, man, with
Thank
Naomi.
you, man. I know there was a lot of back feed. I was reading you guys in the chat, but there's nothing I can do about it. She didn't have headphones. We tried to fix it before the show, and I didn't want to cancel. So sometimes you just got to let it be, man.
No, yeah, I still think you did your thing. It was a good conversation. Shit, I enjoyed it. I think a lot of dudes in the chat enjoyed it for one reason or the other.
Get her more exposure, man. We're trying to get her more exposure. She's a good young fighter. She has a great personality, as you can see. She carries herself well. And,
super humble.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just she's got a bright future. So I'm glad I was able to bring her aboard. We'll get her back on in the future.
I like that for you, Johnny. Like giving like the lesser known people that probably wouldn't get like a look anywhere else. Like that's like good karma. It's gonna come back to you.
I interview them all. It could be a prospect. It could be a contender, champion, trainer, coach, cut man. Next week, by the way, y'all, in the chat, we actually nailed down the referee Tony Weeks interview. That is going down next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be a big one. Championship going to the Hall of Fame more than likely at one point. Tony Weeks will be in the building, so that's going to be a great interview as well. This is how we do it up at the Hangout spot, bro. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later, as well as tomorrow's interview with the champ, Brian Norman Jr. What you got, Alberto? I do want to bring in a couple of other people, but let me let you cook for a minute first before I bring in a full panel here.
Yeah, no worries, Johnny. Do what you got to do. Tony Weeks, I believe he's the one that had he was in the Badu Jack fight, right? Like one of the bloodiest fights. That was Tony Weeks.
He's in all kind of different fights. Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna ask him about all that stuff. Like, that's gonna be a really good interview because I want to get into the mind of an official, right? We've done it with the broadcasters, with Lampley, Claudia Trejos. We've done it with the cut man, with Stitch Duran. We're looking for a ring announcer. We're looking for more broadcasters. We're looking for referees. Get into the mind of a referee. It's very, very difficult to referee a fight, let alone championship fights. These guys have hundreds of championship fights. So it's going to be a good interview.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Johnny. You're touching like all bases of boxing. All you need is a judge.
Boxing, baby. Boxing, baby.
Yeah, the last caller, I think, Bob, I think he was having a little bit of like a bias towards like things from the past, like a nostalgia bias. I feel like he wasn't giving a lot of the fighters from this generation props, but with the Canelo Bud thing, yeah, Johnny, I feel like Bud's resume, if you really think about it, it's kind of suspect. I don't know why Bud didn't bring up Errol, though. Errol was like a pound for pound top 10 dude, like consensus top 10.
I think he was caught off guard. I mean, Bud is not really one of those big trash talkers, man. Bud just wants to go in there, and he's a very, very serious guy, and he wants to mix it up. I think he was caught off guard, man. I honestly do. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah, but Johnny, it was the interview. It was in English. Like Canelo was like popping it at him like in this language that he's like not.
He should have been better prepared. You got to be quick with it. Like you should be like, especially me. Like I prepare questions for interviews. But if I was being interviewed, I would be prepared. Like, man, if they ask me this, if they ask me that. But again, you don't know what goes on in the mind of a fighter, especially when the lights are on. So.
Yeah, that was crazy. I know Marco had told us about that interview happening since way back when, like March, February. So it was crazy to see it come out in June. If I didn't know any better, I would have been like, damn, they're doing a lot of promotion for the fight right now.
Yeah, I know that was weird. I did. And then all of a sudden, Tom Brady, which I don't know, maybe it's because I don't like Tom Brady because I'm a Jet fan and he made my life miserable for over 20 years. As a fan, watching him win and beat the crap out of us. But I'm like, what is this dude doing on the panel, bro? He's not a boxing dude. Like, he's asking like the weirdest questions. Like, it's like weird, man. Like, what are you there for? But then I realized Chad is up in the panel and CJ Rich is up in the panel as well.
Salute.
But then I realized, right? It's very, very simple. Turkey is he's a name whore. Let's call it what it is. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful fashion. He's just about, bringing in the biggest names to draw more eyes to whatever it is that they're doing, right? He started it all with the whole concert deal. Remember that, guys? The whole concerts before the main event, which personally I could do without. This is boxing. Get me to the main event, bro. I don't care to see so-and-so perform. If I want to see them perform, I'll get a ticket to a concert, bro. Give me the main event after the co-main. So that went away, but you saw it with that. Then you see it with bringing Jim Lampley back, which I thought was good, and now Max Kellerman and all these things. So he's just whoever was the biggest names, or put him in the broadcast, put him in the promo, and we'll get more eyes, on whatever this event is. But just get it right, man. You don't have to do that. Anyway, I say that I've digressed. But yeah. I even forgot what I was going to say. I lost my chain of thought. Maybe one of you guys can jump in here. But
hey, CJ.
Chad is in the building. CJ's in the building. With Alberto in the building. We got a full panel. We got some other people that want to call in. So
what's going on? Yeah, that's good. That's good.
People little by little here, because this is a good topic.
CJ, are you going to chill on the panel for a minute? Because I'm just kind of passing through. If you don't mind, if you guys don't mind, I'll just kind of kick my 2 cents.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead, take your turn. Yeah, speak.
I'll just say, sorry, Johnny. Like this topic, excuse me, it really deserves a lot of thought and a lot of discussion. I just don't have the time being at work and whatnot. But one thing that I seem to take away with everything I've heard people talking about is like there seems to be 2 approaches to what people think is elite. So you got certain fans that are looking at, the entirety of boxers. So say there's, 5,000 boxers registered in any given division. Well, then, the top 20, 30 are going to be elite, and then you've got people that seem to be looking at it more from looking at those top 30 guys, only the best of those guys would be considered elite. And I kind of see both points of view, really. I don't know, I don't think there's definitely a right and wrong with everything to do with this topic, like elite, like what defines elite. But I'll tell you, it's definitely a mix of accomplishments and real time in the ring, man. Like how a guy's looking in the ring, what's going on in the ring, what is he doing in the ring or she. And then there's context beyond that. Like I see it as every fighter, you would look at them, their circumstances a little different. Other than that, though, I just wanted to say a lot of people seem confused about in that interview why Bud had said Postal, right? He gave Postal as one of his so you got to remember that it was at lightweight, or at 140. He fought Postal to get the lineal championship, right? That was the first. I think that was the second fight he had at 140, maybe the first, but definitely the fight that he did to become lineal. So, at that point, Postal was highly ranked in the division, and was probably at the height of his career. So I see why Bud is giving him that type of favor, Postal's not elite in my mind, but a good fighter for sure. But yeah, man, I said it earlier today, and I'll just leave you guys with this, is that, Bud was lineal in 3 divisions. He was lineal lightweight, so 135, 140, and 147. 3 divisions lineal champion. And you could say, he had his best fights in and around those with those titles. As lineal champion, he had his best fights at 140 and 147, all those great fights. Well, some people don't think they're great, but he had a couple great ones. Some people like a lot of people seem to like the Porter fight. Obviously, the Spence fight, Indongo fight is a highlight. I mean, the Postol fight was pretty good. And then you look at Canelo. Well, Canelo he became lineal at 68 when he fought Plant. That's when he became the lineal champ. And when you look at his fights after getting that lineal title, I mean, what he fought Triple G the third fight. He fought Ryder. He fought Charlo. You know, like arguably not the best part of his career, right? So I guess I'm saying, since everybody wants to down Bud on his resume and his accomplishments, that's an angle to think about there, where I think Bud does deserve a little bit of shine. But I agree that overall, I mean, shoot, man, Canelo 60 plus fights. He's fought everybody. I mean, it's a great resume, and it outshines Bud. But I feel like with Elite, it's more to it than that. Way more to it than that. The Kambosos, the debate discussion is a great point. You know, to make the point of, on paper you can have all types of titles and wins, but that doesn't necessarily translate to Elite. Like, what about Rayo? Is Rayo Elite? Rayo had a belt. Rayo got a belt. There's paths sometimes to titles and to belts. Promoters are masters of it, but it doesn't mean the guy's gonna be elite. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go back to listening. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks for jumping on, bro. You know your family. To Chad's point, and again, you guys haven't smashed that like button. Make sure you smash that like button. Damn, Mikhail was in the back. Oh, here's here. We'll bring Mikhail up in the panel as well. For you guys that want to call in, you can call in. What we'll do is we'll try to swap out panel members here and there, so we get everybody to get a little bit of a shot. If you guys are okay with that, instead of just timing everybody, we'll give everybody a little bit of shine on the panel. Before I get to CJ, Alberto, I know you were cooking a little bit, so let Alberto finish. But before we get to that, I think Chad brings up some good points. I look at it like this. There should be boxes, right, that you have to check off in order for us to be able, or anybody to consider somebody an elite status fighter, because I don't think that if there are 5 different boxes that we're going to have a fighter that meets all 5 different, or checks off five different boxes, right? Because to Chad's point, Kambosos, well, you know, he's one, you know, he's a former undisputed champion. Does that make him elite? I don't think that he has an elite skill level, but he does have a good resume. You know, so there has to be different categories, and I believe the more boxes you check off, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe that's how we classify an elite fighter. I look at the skill level, man. To me, I'm big on the eye test. I'm big on the eye test, because I'm going to tell you right now, do I consider Shakur Stevenson an elite fighter? Absolutely. I think he has elite skills. I think he's an elite defender. He's won titles in multiple divisions, but he doesn't have the resume, right? You know, that we would consider as an elite fighter, but I do consider him an elite fighter. He's an A-level fighter. So when I look at fights, I don't even talk about elite, to be honest with you guys. And this is not for the panel. This is for also everybody. I look at levels like this: A-level fighters, there's B-level fighters, there's C-level fighters. So I'm more that type of dude. But at the end of the day, for the people in the chat, this is an opinionated question. We're all going to have a difference of opinion. I don't think all of us are going to meet in the middle unless boxing puts out a criteria. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Go ahead. I'll let you guys cook. CJ Rich, you were on first, so I'll let you cook first.
All right. Good looking out. First of all, before I get started, Johnny, can I please have a Let's Go champ? Because I'm a big Briggs fan.
Let's go, champ.
All right. Now I'm ready to cook. So
let's do it.
We had Jersey Bob up first. Good perspective. And then he represents to me the old generation, and then Alberto coming through with, you know, the dudes in their 20s, I would assume. But so yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. And I'm gonna say this, that I don't agree completely. Most of what he said, Jersey Bob said, I do agree with, but his criteria of like saying, oh, he ain't elite if he never beat anybody elite. Well, by that logic, who could be elite, right? Because nobody could be elite unless somebody else was elite first. So that didn't quite add up to me. But I feel what he was saying. I mostly land on Chad's side, like a balanced perspective. That yes, it does. And what was your criteria, Johnny? You said accomplishments. You said eye test, and you
I just threw
said
it out there. I just threw out. I believe you have to be a multiple. You have to win multiple titles. And if you win multiple titles in different divisions, even better.
Mhm.
You're obviously who you beat, opponents,
right.
and skill level. You know, an elite fighter has to possess elite skills
Yo,
or
and
some elite skill.
I can completely agree with that criteria, and I want to order it. So I would say skill level. You know, as you put it earlier, eye test. I agree with that. That's like the top thing, because we all know when we see someone special. I brought it up the other day. I said I know when I saw Tyson and Roy Jones that they were elite. You know, based on eye test. So I'm gonna circle back to that, T, because Jersey Bob was trying to say Tyson was an elite. I want to make an argument why he is. I'll probably let Macau step up first. I'm not trying to be too long-winded, but let me finish off with this. That hey, hold up, I'm ready to mute up for a bit. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, Macau. Cook, bro.
This topic has been going all day here. The Boxing Boys just
I
spurred
know,
on.
but I had to bring that up because I couldn't jump on the
Oh no, it's a
panel.
great it's a great topic.
And
It's
it's
a
a great topic because they were more arguing. See, the thing that they were, to me, that they were, when I was going in and out, was there was more arguing of which fighters are elite. My thing is, what is elite? Have we classified what is elite? And they could have talked about that and I could have missed it, but I think that's more of what I want to emphasize the conversation.
They talked about it a little bit. They got into the definition, but they were, like you were saying, they were more
got you
arguing about which fighters, specific fighters,
right,
where
that's what I was
fighters were not elite. And I think if you come up with a general consensus of the definition of the word, and that becomes the issue, is our definitions are subjective. What elite is really not as subjective as we make it. If you really come up with a general definition for what elite is, and this is the thing, it becomes like hardcore and casual. These two words that we throw these words around in boxing: hardcore, casual, elite, resumes, and we throw these words around and they become good talking points. But then when we really break down and you really want to look at it, okay, when you really understand how difficult it is to become top 10 in any sanctioning body, to become a champion, period, we say, oh, well, he had an easy path. He had an email belt. He had this. You have to be positioned for some of these things, but you have to be able to be in the position. And anytime you get in a ring and somebody swings at you and you swing at them, anything can happen. That's the first thing. So a lot of this is not luck. No matter if you look at a guy and you say, well, he looks better. I prefer this style. I prefer this. I feel like he faced more guys. I feel like he didn't face more guys. All this other stuff. To be top 10 in any sanctioning body is a difficult task, because if it was easy, anybody would hop in the ring and do it. If it was just that simple, any guy with two legs and two hands would hop in the ring and be elite, be top 10, be a champion. Anybody can do it. And it's not an anybody can do it type of thing. So, if you are in the top 10, top 5 of any sanctioning body, to me, at that point, I think, like you were saying, class A, class B, class C, I think at that point we can define you as a class A fighter. And then from there, people distinguish themselves based on who they fought, what they did with their belts. And, what happens from there, I think, can be arguable, but you have to be a class A fighter to be in the top 10 of any sanctioning body. You cannot just be trash. You cannot be a B-level fighter. You can't just be okay. You can't just be all right. To be on a pound for pound, to be on an undisputed, to be considered for these things, just winning 30 fights, even if you faced 30 cab drivers, 30 Uber drivers, you faced 30 guys that were coming in there trying to take your head off. It's not WWE. It's not scripted. We don't write out who the champions are. We're not, it's not reality TV. There's no producers. Like, anything can happen when you step in the ring. So the possibilities are there. At the end of the day, I think from there, fighters distinguish themselves. But I think it starts off with You know what they say that that the percentage that guys estimate that haven't fought estimate where their fighting abilities are. 65 to 70%. They overestimate their ability to fight.
Think they can fight better than they can. Yeah, you got it.
65 to 70%. So we have people that are judging guys that actually fight with a distorted view of fighting. Period. So it's just like, you know, that becomes the difficulty in these discussions for real.
It is because Robert Artiaga, I appreciate the comment. He says when you collect all the belts one by one and then defend them, that makes you elite. Well, I get it, but then nobody would be elite.
There's an argument for undisputed, but yeah, almost nobody would meet that criteria. Let me just piggyback. Sorry to step down. But what I was saying earlier. So, I did want to see. I hate to belabor the point because Mikhail just got it in like earlier on the Boxing Voice. See, I don't, I wasn't over there, so I didn't hear that conversation. But I did want to bring up who was elite. Let me make my example of Tyson. So again, eye test. He fought when he was in his prime before life got messed up. Man, people underestimate that. They just think, oh, it was Buster Douglas. They don't know that he was doing playing with that that white girl with Bobby Brown in the hotel and had all these Japanese women. He just lost focus. And then, Cuss died. He got rid of Kevin Rooney. All these things played a factor. So you can't just say, oh, when he fought the other elites of his generation, like Holyfield and Lewis, then he lost. That's a way too simplified view of it, in my opinion. So, no, to me, when I saw him in his prime, you had to be one of those things you had to be there for. So I consider him elite based on that criteria. But y'all got it.
Yeah, no, for sure. The chat is cooking though, because everybody is putting their opinion of what they believe could be an elite fighter, and I get it. And this is the beauty of this conversation. This is why I wanted to keep it more of what is elite in your mind and not who is elite. Because we're all gonna have a difference of opinion on who's elite, but it seems like we're all having a difference of opinion on what should be the criteria. But
yes, all slightly different. I like that. It's a good cut.
Yeah, which is good. It makes for some good dialogue, some good conversation. This is how we do it up here at the Hangout Spot. But before we get back to that, again, I want to show my brother Bandalorian, who's showing me some love with the $5 super chat. The Haney's just wolfing on the net, Johnny. I'm hoping for Junior versus Essamon in Atlanta in October, hopefully. This is in obviously conversation about Devin Haney potentially fighting Brian Norman Jr. next. This shit went down last night at the Boxing Voice while I was on the panel before Ness's dog conveniently just blew out the internet, ended the show suddenly while the show was cooking, but it happens. But anyway, they were both on the panel. Brian Norman Sr. and Bill Haney were on the panel talking they shit. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. This shit was crazy. I was just sitting in the background laughing, bro, on the panel. Anyway, we're gonna get the champion's opinion on that tomorrow because we got Brian Norman Jr. on the show tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys smash that like button. CJ Rich, my brother, who is on the panel with the $5, who's throwing me some Spanish shade here. Even my homegirl noticed your Spanish is spotty with the eye emojis.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard her a second ago, but yeah, she said it.
Spotty is actually being nice, bro. So shout out to the lady, bro. Tremendous interview. No, I appreciate that, bro. I thought it was a good interview, man. We got to show the lady some love, man. She's up and coming, man. Attorney Bailey with the $5. My brother, and I appreciate you, man. AB just sent me a super, actually a Cash App as well. So I appreciate the donation and your continued support of the channel. He says, in my opinion, elite goes in two categories: elite fighters versus elite competition. There is a difference. Okay, I get that. You can have world-class competition, but no elite fighters. So again, good perspective. Good perspective. One thing I will say is, and I know Daddy Life, I appreciate you commenting on here. He wants me to pull up Bud and Canelo's resume to see who has the elite fighters on their resume or not. We can do that in just a little bit, but I want to concentrate on this portion of the conversation and what elite is, right? Is what I would say is, again, everybody's going to have a difference of opinion, but can we agree on this? And I'm talking to the panel, I'm talking to the chat. And if you guys want to call in, now's the time. I'll put one more person on the panel and then I'll try to flip flop if we have more callers. So everybody can get a turn. do we consider the top 10, regardless of who it is, right? The top 10 pound for pound list, do we consider all those fighters elite?
Negative. It can't be strictly based on that because, you know, some periods in boxing are weaker than others. So you might not have, you might only have a top 7, you know, like 7 top fighters that would be considered elite is what I'm trying to say. Or at other periods, you might have 12 or 13 that you can consider elite. So no, it just depends. I don't think it's that cut and dry.
Mikhail, are you there? We may have lost Mikhail.
Stay off the street, Mikhail.
Mikhail, don't tell me you got into trouble, bro. You're supposed to be on the show listening so you stay out of the trouble. It's like going to the gym, right? You know,
exactly.
You go to the gym to stay out of trouble. You know, a lot of these young fighters say, you know what? I became a fighter because I needed to go to the gym. I wanted to stay out of the streets. But yeah, we got some people in the chat that are agreeing with you, CJ. They're saying no, and then we got some people that are saying yes. I gotta say, for the most part, if you make the pound for pound list, then you have to be considered an elite fighter. Because
no, man. Hey, can you pull it up right now? What does the ring have one?
The pound for pound list?
Pull the pound for pound list real quick.
Oh, Mikhail, you're back? Mikhail, I was calling on you like Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, let's start at 10 and see if we consider him elite.
You see, Mikhail's still young, so I don't know if he knows about Ferris Bueller's Day Off movie.
Yeah, I know. I know about
you
that.
You know about that movie?
Yeah.
Bueller. Yeah, where you at, Chin?
Yeah.
My bad.
So I'm gonna pull up the ring ranking for current pound for pound. Let's do that. Let's do that, and I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna go one by one, and we're gonna ask, do you consider this current list as elite fighters?
I like that.
All right, hold on. Let me let's share the screen. We are here at the Hangout spot, y'all. Make sure y'all smash that like button and tell a friend to subscribe. So this is what the pound for pound list is currently. You got Alexander Usyk at number 1. Is he an elite fighter?
Man,
yes.
Undisputed in the heavyweight division. How can you not consider him elite?
Automatically, and then you add on the cruiserweight. Yep,
exactly. Conquered. So it fits my little made up criteria that I just thought about before the show. Naoya Inoue, is he an elite fighter?
I would say yes, based on. Go ahead, Mikhail.
One by one, y'all.
Wiped out his division, undisputed. How can you? That's what I'm saying. How can you not consider someone who is a multi-division champion? Like, you can't just accidentally become multi-division champion. There's only so much positioning in the world.
I feel you, Mikhail. Let me play devil's advocate. Well, first of all, let me say yes, he is elite. But the only blemish he would have, according to Johnny's criteria and mine, I agree with it, is opponents, right? Because people don't pay attention to the lighter weights like that, so we don't really know these guys as well as we should. So that's the only blemish. But yeah, you got it.
This is what I'm saying, though. Because we don't know them, we have decided that his resume is not as good and that his path was not as difficult. He can't design how God makes him and his anatomy and his size. So he has to be we illegitimize his resume because God didn't make him bigger.
No, that's a great point. Let me follow up with this. I think that's the point that Bud was trying to make. Just because these guys weren't world famous and had the clout of other fighters doesn't mean they weren't very skilled fighters and weren't up there. So yeah, I feel what you're saying though.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, right? It's like a sports team, right? You play and you beat who's on your schedule.
Exactly. You can't always control it. A lot of politics in boxing, you can't determine that all the time.
And the thing about the lower weight classes, and this is what these guys suffer from, is the name recognition. You know, you're not going to have the name recognition as the guys in the higher weight classes, but from a skill perspective and what he's accomplished in multiple weight classes, I don't think that there is a question. that he's an elite fighter. In fact, if you look at it, let's just go through the list. I mean, we don't have to go one by one, but you got Crawford, Bivol, Beterbiev, Nakatani, Bam, Canelo, Taraji, and you got David Benavidez at number 10. Is there anybody on this list, just to make it faster, that you don't think is an elite fighter? And I already know what most people in the chat are going to say.
Okay, because I couldn't guess, but to me, I'm just not as familiar with Taraji.
With
So
number 9, right? Exactly, and that's what people are going to say. Nah, I don't think number 1 should be there. But the
no,
reason
and
why
I
I
wouldn't
think
even
most
say
people,
no. I think I need to do more research. I'm gonna be honest about
right,
it, but yeah,
that's the right answer. But what most
or
people are going to say is, this guy, I'd rather put Shakur in there. I'd rather put Tank in there. I'd rather put Devin in there. And why is that? Because we know them.
hey,
There's
that's
name
legit.
recognition.
Good point.
So, but other than that, I look at this list and I think it's I would agree though. I think that Taraji, I think that I think Shakur is a better all-around fighter than this Taraji guy. That's just me. I would rather put Shakur in there. But most people
I mean,
may disagree who are obviously fans of the lower weight classes. Everybody else, I think, is an elite fighter. So that's why I tell you. That's why I
sorry to
tell
cut
you.
you off, but
Go
what
ahead.
weight class does Taraji fight at?
Oh God, it's got to be in the lower weight classes. Let's pull that
I
up.
think he's
I think I
bantam.
want to say bantamweight. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Where is
But
it?
that's the crazy part. You see in the chat, people comment, Bam's skills make him elite. Bam's a little guy just like the rest of them.
That's very true.
Who
That's what
doesn't have any name recognition on his resume, but because we know Bam,
He got the
and we
machine
see
behind him. Yeah, you're right. His name has been pushed out there more. You're exactly right.
Rodriguez, of course he deserves it.
Yeah, this guy fights at 111 pounds. You know, so again, he's at the
Yeah.
lowest weight class. And
Right.
world flyweight. He's a flyweight champion, WBC world flyweight champion. They call him the Amazing Boy. He does have one loss on his record, but he has 16 knockouts in 26 fights. So I agree with CJ. I got to do a little bit more research on this kid before I say he shouldn't be on there. But hey, just to make the list, I give him a lot of credit.
And with Inoue and his explosion onto the scene, and with a couple of our American fighters traveling over there to Japan, I've become a little bit more familiar with the Japanese fight scene. They've got some of the best little guys in the world over there, and they've got a great fight scene. We just don't see it because of the time difference, and it's difficult to watch their fights. They come on at 5 and 6 and 4 in the morning, and so you have to really be committed to watching boxing.
Hardcore. Yeah, absolutely. I catch them every once in a while, but not always. I can't lie.
Yeah, and I've just stayed up here recently because guys have been fighting over there.
What was that last one we had?
Brian Norman just fought over there. Stayed up for that.
Yeah.
They had some little guys on the undercard and on the prelims because that's what they have fighting over there. You know what I mean? But they have a great fight culture. It's a little bit different. It's more like the Saudi Arabian crowd, like more respectful, more reserved, less rowdy than the American crowd, what we're used to. But it's a different fight culture.
That's interesting because, on a tangent, and then I'll let you chime in, take over your own show, I should say, Johnny, but real quick, that's interesting because the Japanese pro wrestling crowd is known for being like real rowdy. So I find that interesting.
Yeah.
So let's flip it up a little bit and let's give some of the viewers the list, right? Because I had a couple of people that asked me about Bud's resume. So let me share my screen now. Again, guys, if you want to call in, call in. Go ahead.
If they want to make a heads up comparison, it's no comparison. Obviously, Canelo has been in the pros for longer and fight higher level competition. So I don't know if someone was asking that. No, but let's get more precise. Let's get to the point of who on Bud's resume would you consider elite or borderline elite? I think that's a better question.
Right. Good call out. So This is Bud's box, right? Hopefully, can you guys see the screen? It's up, right?
It's
Yes.
up.
Okay, so here we go. We got Madrimov, who he
No.
beat by unanimous decision, is not an elite fighter. We would all agree. Errol Spence.
Yes. Again, one blemish on his resume. I mean,
Well,
they can make
and it was
excuses
with him.
for the car accident and all that, but they weren't saying that with versus Ugas and all that when he weathered that storm. So yes, I would have to say he was on the pound for pound if we want to consider that. And we all agreed that at least 9 out of 10 of the current pound for pound fighters are elite. And this isn't the best era of boxing ever. So yeah, based on that, I would have to say yes, Spence elite.
He had 3 out of 4 belts.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say he was an elite welterweight, bro. He was considered best welterweight. Him and Terrence Crawford, 1 and 1A or whatever you want to call them, 1 and 2. And that's why that fight was so much anticipated for as long as for it took to make it happen. Obviously, I'm not going to read that one. Avenesian, we don't. Sean Porter is an interesting one because now that brings in another category that I didn't talk about, which is time, right?
Okay.
There could be fighters that were elite at one time, but then weren't elite when somebody fought them.
So you think he was possibly past it once Bud took him out? Keep in mind, Bud was the first one to stop him. Correct me if I'm wrong. Might have been the only one, so I can't put that on him.
The only one.
So yeah, I would say borderline. I would classify that. I know I'm getting in a gray area, but borderline elite because he fought everybody and he did very well. So borderline elite.
Right, multiple champion, whatever. Did he win the title
Here's the
twice?
thing, though. I think there can be. I think within elite, there can be guys that are more elite. You can be more elite than a guy and still be elite. It's not
levels of elite. It's hard enough to figure out elite, bro. Let's not do the level. I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying.
It's like any other sport. We go through the playoffs, right? And you have playoff teams. We don't say, oh, you know, the Indiana Pacers were trash because they lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're an elite team.
Just a different tier, just slightly different tier.
They just ain't the champions. They just weren't the best this year.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the only sport that when you're not the best that night, you're trash.
Then you finish. Yeah, you need to retire.
This is my only rebuttal to this. And again, I do agree that there should be a consideration of when you fight a fighter. However, this is what I will throw in there. 30 years from now, we look back, right? If we're all lucky enough to be here, whatever, and we say, well, you know, who are the guys that Bud fought, you know, back then? You remember Bud Crawford, that great fighter? Look at all these great elite fighters he fought. Blah, 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 blah. They'll probably throw Sean Porter in that mix because 30 years from now, you're not going to take into consideration, was he elite at that time or not? It's basically more of a name than anything else. And the one that I'll throw at you is, the example that I'll throw at you is Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. If you ask any Lennox Lewis fan, or if you even ask Lennox Lewis today, probably who were the elite fighters he beat, Mike Tyson would be in that list, I would guess. Am I right or am I wrong?
He's gonna
you already know I agree with you. Yeah.
Right. But realistically, if we really look back, the guys that have been around that are old enough to be able to live in that era, was Mike Tyson elite at that point?
At
or
that
was
point,
he kind of
no.
past his prime? Right.
Absolutely not.
But we're not going to think about that today, all these years later. So that's the only thing that I would throw out there with Sean Porter. Just something to think about, you know. Sugar Ray Leonard, when he fought so-and-so, or when Hector Camacho stopped Sugar Ray Leonard, he can say, well, he was one of those elite fighters he fought. A lot of people would say Sugar Ray Leonard was over the hill. You see what I'm saying?
No, I completely.
Y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying in the chat? So that's the only thing I would say about. I think it's more about the name and the fact that this person at one point was an elite fighter. Because Sean
I'm
Porter was
glad you
fighting
brought
the big
that up,
names.
and
He
I
was the
hate
champion.
to sidetrack. Sorry, I hate to sidetrack, but Jersey Bob was talking about Haney beating Loma. That name is on his resume, champ. So I understand. I think in retrospect, yeah, when we look back on it, we're gonna say, hey, he beat Lomachenko. Salute to him. Given that he bounces out of his current little funk, because I do think he's lacking in confidence, and I don't want to see that Norman fight for him right now. Not to say he eventually can't be ready for it, but he hasn't fully adjusted to 147, much less dealt with a puncher like that. So no Norman right now, but he gets full credit for Lomachenko, my opinion.
Yeah. So that's what I would say, with the whole name thing. So me personally, I'd probably say, yeah, I would say Porter is probably an elite name on his resume because he did stop him. That's a great point, Jersey. I was about to call you Jersey Bob, CJ Rich. My bad. But
that's
there are worse,
racist.
there are
As
worse names.
Marco would say, "Oh, that's racist."
There's worse names to call you, bro. Jersey Bob's a good dude.
No. Shout out to Jersey Bob. I really respect his opinion.
He cool people, man. He great, man. He's awesome. But so I would stick to the name for now, because I think it's just way too difficult and it just takes way too much energy. Well, what year was this? Who did he fight? Did he lose to so and so? I mean, fight fans have a lot of time to be able to dissect shit like that and break it down that way. Then more power to you. But so I would say yes. I would say Porter is Kell Brook. I wouldn't say Kell Brook is elite. What about y'all?
A domestic great. A domestic great.
Probably elite in the UK.
Of course, at the time, and a former champion, like.
But again, you see what I'm saying? He was a former, but he was how many? He was only a champion in one division, though, right?
He was a champion in one division and only held
welterweight.
Yeah,
but he
I gotta go. I gotta take a call real quick, guys.
All right, brother.
Salute, McCall.
He actually beat Sean Porter in his supposed prime, and took
I forgot
Sean
about
Porter's
that.
title.
Right.
So you see what I'm trying to tell you? This is why it's very, very difficult for me to sit there and go with errors and times and stuff like that. To me, it just takes too much work. So I'll approach it a little bit like a casual, so to speak. But other than that, I really don't see a lot of other names. When he did fight Yorkiowicz, I always screw this guy is Gamboa.
Gotcha.
Yorkiowicz Gamboa. He was 23-0 at the time, and he was considered by many, a top fighter. And that was a really
people forget about that. It's like as soon as someone gets knocked off, who's to say that Bud didn't ruin him? I'm not saying he did, but you can make an argument for that. Like, okay, he was elite, and then he got knocked off, so he was never the same again. It just, man, this shit is so subjective. But yeah, people would make that narrative about some fighters, but then other ones they completely disregard. I'm okay. Hey, you can make an argument for that. I'm not saying I agree, but it's up there. I mean, it's debatable.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And then when it comes to Canelo, obviously, I mean, he's going to have more elite names on his resume. Just the guys that he lost to.
Okay,
I mean?
So when you said opponents, I wanted to dial this down. You said opponents were your top three within your top three criteria. So let me ask you this:
I threw it out there for discussion to see if it was.
No. I mean, it was a good starting point. It got the conversation started. That's the only reason I'm going back to it. I'm not I'm not holding your feet to the fire. But let me ask this: you consider opponents just like who he was down to face, and maybe he put up a competitive fight, or strictly who you beat? That's the question I want to ask.
Oh man,
to me, it's a little mix of both. Because if it was close.
Right.
See, I don't give Canelo a lot of credit for Floyd because he was just completely outclassed, given he was young as hell and he had nuts to get it in there. But I can't give you credit. I can get in there and get my ass beat. You feel me? So that doesn't really mean much to me.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's a very, very interesting conversation. KO King said the Norman spot. Salute to you, brother. By the way, in case you don't know, the champion will be in the building tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, for all of you guys that are gonna call this, or I have been calling this the Norman spot, I guess it will be the Norman spot officially tomorrow.
Let's go. I know that's one of your favorite fighters. You're tapped in with his dad and him, and he's one of he's becoming one of my favorites. So I chopped it up with Senior like on another panel a year ago, and that's when I really started paying attention. So yeah, I'm with it. And that last performance was so impressive. Who could hate now? You could say, "Oh, who the fuck was this guy?" But come on, I mean, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. You couldn't be more impressive. So shout out to Norman.
The people that are gonna sit there and say who he did it against, I mean, that's just hate. Come on, man.
Right.
I mean, I mean, the guy had a 90% knockout ratio. Just because you didn't know him or he didn't have name recognition, he was obviously a number 2 contender in the division. So it is what
That's
it is.
it.
And he handled his business. Like if he would have went the distance, it would have been bad. Why did he
Yeah.
knock that guy out? In 5 rounds, like he should have. If he's so good, he knocks him out in 5 rounds. Oh my God, this guy wasn't as good as we all thought he was. Like, come on, man. Like, pick a side. But we're gonna talk about it tomorrow. More importantly, what's ahead and what the potential future is. So that's gonna be a great interview. It's not gonna be a good interview. It's gonna be a great interview. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that right now. Attorney Bailey is back with the $2. He said, "Is Aaron Pryor elite? He was ducked by many." I consider Aaron Pryor an elite fighter just because of those wins against Alexis Arguello, who was another elite fighter. I think he was. What about you, CJ?
Yeah. And I wasn't even
Absolutely.
thinking
And he had
resume
elite
off top.
skills. And he had
I
elite
was
skills.
thinking, yeah, exactly. I was thinking more eye test. That's what, yeah. I told you that's my number 1. So yes, Aaron Pryor, elite. You got it,
And
baby.
on top of that, and you know what? Even though this is not a part of the criteria, but like Attorney Bailey said, and Attorney, I appreciate the donations tonight, my brother. You always coming through, man. Appreciate you. Another little thing that won't be a part of the criteria that should be taken into consideration is when dudes don't want to fight you. That's another one, right?
Oh, who ducked you? Damn.
Right,
Okay.
and that's what you just alluded to with Aaron Pryor. Maybe Aaron Pryor didn't have all the biggest names like some of the other fighters, but it's because nobody wanted that fucking smoke.
Yeah, but I didn't think about it in general. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put that layer on top of it.
You see, look at Vega. Vega already talking shit.
Yeah.
Vega. I deleted your number, Vega. I deleted your number from my cell phone.
Oh no.
Because this man goes on the Boxing Voice and he puts his camera on and he's behind a nice mic and all this other stuff, but he can't do that shit when he comes here. Like, I'm not good enough for you to go to your studio.
Hey, that's the subtext. It's like when a chick leaves you and gets with another guy. She was like, "Oh no, it just didn't work out." Nah, she didn't think he was good enough. That's fucked up, Vega.
He comes out on a date and he just wears regular shit, but when he goes out with Ness on the Boxing Voice, he want to get all glammed up and makeup and all this other bullshit. Yo, Shaq,
he got the long eyelashes on, all the shit.
So, chat, make sure y'all cook Vega, bro, because he went up on the Boxing Voice today looking all pretty and shit, but he can't come here and do that shit. That's what's up. All right, whatever. Ryan, what's good from Boxing Talk Up North? Ryan, if you want to jump in, the link is in the chat, bro. We're having a conversation on what we consider would be an acceptable criteria for what makes an elite fighter. I think that's the important thing for us to be able to kind of talk about, because there's conversations. The Boxing Voice had a really, really good show today debating which fighters were based on who they fought, generations, eras, whatever it was. But my whole question in that whole show was, well, what do you consider, or what is the criteria for an elite fighter? And I know we're not going to have one. It's just like the pound for pound list. It's subjective, it's opinionated. You ask 100 people, you're going to get 90 different responses. But let's see if we could come up with one that we feel comfortable enough going forward with, so that at the Hangout spot, when we talk elite fighters, we can say, yo, nah, bro, he don't meet our criteria, or yeah, he meets our criteria. So we taking callers, man. The link is pinned to the chat. So call in, give me your feedback. Ryan Frazier said Joshua Frazier versus Callum Walsh, super welterweight class. Tell Turk, y'all. Absolutely. Let's speak that shit into fucking fruition. If anybody that watches, that is in contact with Turkey is listening, bro, get my man Joshua Frazier up in that card. Callum Walsh, I think that would be a hell of a super welterweight class. Ryan, we also got to get your brother up on here so I can interview him. I know you interviewed him, but I would love to get him on here at the Hangout spot, bro, and do a nice interview, man, so that the viewers here can meet him. So, yeah, Ryan, you got to make that happen, bro. But if you guys want to call in, again, the link is pinned to the chat. We got Malcolm want to give his feedback. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, Johnny? My bad if I just sound a little mellowed out. What up, CJ? I like your takes, bro.
You sound
like
good.
your takes, man. Hey, man, shout outs the Hangout spot. I'm gonna be serious today. No trolling or no unnecessary bullshit.
Okay,
that's my job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I don't got the energy, bro. You already know, Johnny. First and foremost, bro, I'm gonna catch the replay. The other day, you guys had a nice show, man. I just want to give you a shout out, bro. Stock Chasers was on here wilding too. Shout out to that man too. But yeah, what makes a fighter elite? Oh man, you know what's crazy is I always thought I knew what an elite fighter was.
Mm.
It was a big thing earlier. You know, everybody was talking about it. But then there's times where I feel like it's very broad because you got guys that's like elite in terms of talent. You know, for you to be elite,
Right.
you just have to have those standout characteristics, and you're just above the bunch. You know, if there's like you so an example like when you have somebody who's just elite, you have like that high level, like you know, you got that high power, your speed is just up there, your stamina, your IQ, you know, and the IQ is something that you can learn over time, but there's some people who just born with just better IQ or they're just able to think faster than others, you know. So they have all these physical traits that's just amazing, you know, like you could have elite level speed like Amir Khan, and then you could just somehow just not turn out to be an elite fighter. And what makes somebody an elite fighter, you also have to reach that pinnacle. You have to, I think you have to have the accomplishments. You have to fight at that high level. You have to beat all the top names. So you can have elite traits, but you can't be an elite fighter without doing elite shit and moving up, you know, 2, 3 weight classes, beating that number one guy, standout performances. So that's kind of how I look at it. You know, a good example, I would say Abdullah Mason and Kermel, they have elite traits. You know, when you watch them, you just like, damn man, they can be the top of the top, but they haven't done anything yet to be considered an elite fighter. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't really have crazy elite traits. I can't really think. Now let me ask you a question, right? Going in, no, that's a bad one. No, I was not gonna use Chris Algieri after beating Provodnikov. Fuck, that's not a good one. But you know what I mean, man. So, yeah, I mean that's all I really got. Like, what's your thoughts on it, man? Because I'm kind of, you know, I remember I just jumped in too. So, like, what's
So,
your thoughts?
so one of the things that I threw out there as a potential criteria would be obviously, I think all fighters strive to be champions, right? World champions. So if you're able to win multiple titles, especially in multiple divisions, I think that's one criteria. Number two, obviously, would be competition, right? Just like anything else. And number three would be what you just said, which is a certain skill level. There's certain fighters that have elite skills, whether it's elite offensive skills, defensive skills, footwork, whatever it is. Some of them have the total package. Some of them do certain things very, very well. So that was just a starting point, right? So you're right. There's a lot of people that you look at and they just pass that eye test. Like, yo, this dude has elite skills, but he doesn't have a title yet. He hasn't beaten top competition, so we can't rate him against the best. You know, so he doesn't have, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
again, it's this is subjective, and this is why we're asking everybody what their opinion on what an elite fighter is. Because Malcolm, it's funny you say that when what you said earlier. Like, man, I used to think I knew what an elite fighter was. I did too. I was like, yo, man, this motherfucker's elite. Then I'm like, well, maybe he's not. Like, he didn't beat this dude, or he hasn't done this, or he hasn't accomplished everything that I thought he should be accomplishing at this point in his career, or he was elite when he was facing lesser competition, but now he looks less elite based on this performance. So it's just hard. It's very, very hard to determine, you know, who we consider, you know, at the top of their game. But you know, that's what we're having this debate for.
Yeah, I actually fucking Googled it. I was like, damn, now I gotta Google this shit because I always thought I knew it. And you know, just the term elite in general, like it gave me it was just like a definition about just sticking out from the bunch. And then when it comes to an elite athlete, you just have to be like that top, you know, 1%. And I had seen some shit, it was like on a forum somewhere, and somebody gave the best example. But they were saying like in terms of elite, you'll have somebody like Lennox Lewis, and then you'll have under that a world class fighter, and they put Vitaly Klitschko, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a pretty good. But you know, some will argue that Vitaly Klitschko was elite, but that's a pretty good standard right there. So I think people kind of just do this at times, and you see what this was all about. It was about the whole Crawford shit. People would just say some fighters are elite and some aren't. It's just based off of resumes. The people just like to tear down resumes. A good example. I don't think Cambosis is elite. He has an elite win against Tio, but you watch him like Cambosis don't show you anything too special. But he has an elite win. After that Tio fight, he was considered an elite fighter. But when you look at him now, you're just like, you're right there from being a gatekeeper.
Yo, that's a great point. That speaks to what I was saying to Johnny earlier. Is it who you faced or who you beat? He faced everybody, but he only beat one, right? So I got you.
I think you can have elite moments. Doesn't make you an elite fighter. You can have a great moment in the sport of boxing, in the sport of football. You can have a great run, in a sport. Doesn't make you, a Hall of Fame player. But again, we live in a day and age where the word great and Hall of Famer and all this other stuff is kind of thrown around a little bit. It's a lot easier to be able to attain that status than it was back when I was growing up in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's a lot
watered
different.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, watered down.
It's very, very much watered down. But one thing or two things off topic that I won't debate is that I got fucking elite fucking followers and family members, especially in the chat. I appreciate y'all. And we got an elite fucking panel right now, bro. We got Malcolm, we got Brian from Boxing Talk Up North, and we got Stock Chasers in the building. And we get a fucking amen.
Hell yeah.
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for jumping on and taking part in this. Again, this is more of a conversation. Damn, we got Attorney Bailey that jumped in here as well, man. I don't want everybody talking over each other, but I do want everybody's opinion on what we're talking about. Stock Chasers, I know you were up next, and then Ryan, and then Attorney. Talk to me about what you consider an elite fighter based on your personal criteria, and then we'll move down the list.
Yo, what's good? You hear me? Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
So look, man, because I was listening to the whole show earlier, and like I honestly feel like as much as let's be honest, there ain't no black and white answer to this. There's not. People have their opinions. I think like where the conversation began was in the sit down between Canelo and Crawford, and Canelo just asked him, yo, like what elite fighters have you beat? And at the end of the day, I think it was more of comparing resumes. But in all reality, to me, elite. All right, let's look at other sports. Right, this is a sport, so let's compare it to basketball. Let's compare it to let's compare it to football or whatever. Right. At the end of the day, when it comes to basketball, will we consider Carmelo Anthony elite? Yes or no?
Would.
He's elite. Carmelo's elite.
No, I said I would not. Scorer. No, negative.
He was an elite scorer, but
okay,
and
you could say that.
Okay, and you would say that why? Because he didn't win a chip.
An elite scorer because
he wasn't even always in the mix. You feel me? He didn't make the Knicks special. They were still on a drought when he was at his best.
So in basketball though, you got MVP. That lets you know who is elite for the year. Who's the most elite player? So if you're MVP, you can't deny someone being elite, right?
We're comparing a team sport to an individual, but I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's tough. That's tough. Yeah, that's tough to do, man.
No. I'm leading to my point. At the end of the day, when we look at the history of boxing, right? The only way when we're talking about elite, because elite is a standard that, if we want to sit here and give everyone elite, then you're not elite. You can be great, but does that make you elite? To me, elite is someone who was or is an undisputed champion. Point blank, period. Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to differentiate what makes you undisputed, bro. That makes you the belt holder across the board, the champion of your weight class. That is the only way that we're able to because you can have two people holding a belt. You can have another person holding a belt and a third person holding the fourth belt. you don't know who's the elite person of that weight class at that time, right? The only way you know is if you undispute. So in my opinion, when we talk about elite, it's easy to see. It's the undisputed champions in the history of boxing: Bernard Hopkins, Terrence Crawford, Usyk, Josh Taylor, Alvarez. We're talking about, oh, Devin Haney ain't elite. Devin Haney was undisputed champion. Like, so this is the thing. Undisputed means you had every single belt in your weight class. It don't matter how you got it, bro. It don't matter if you beat you. That means you beat the guy who had 3 belts. You beat the guy who had 2 belts. Like, at the end of the day, how is that not elite? Now we can sit here all day and be like, oh, Sean Porter was elite. Spence was elite. Oh, when Spence went to Undisputed, we found out who was elite when he fought Bud. And then we figured out, oh, okay, we know who's elite in the weight class. So for people to tell me that undisputed champion doesn't crown you elite, that's cap, because there's only been a few people to do that in the history of boxing. So that to me is elite. Let me know how that's not elite.
Well, I think that's a narrow definition. I'm gonna let the next dude cook, but real quick.
No. You said
hold on, because you're saying that anyone who didn't undispute isn't elite, and that's just not true.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's only been 11 dudes. So how is that not elite?
We're not saying it isn't, but I don't know if that should be the only criteria to determine elite. I think where CJ's getting at.
Yeah, I know, Johnny, but then what you're doing is you're opening up the door to then what is elite? Then if being at the top of the sport isn't elite, then what is?
This is why we're having that discussion. Ryan, go ahead, take it away.
What you're saying then that Oscar De La Hoya wasn't elite?
He wasn't elite.
Oh,
he wasn't.
I mean, okay.
I don't know how old you are, but that's just
Okay.
Oscar, one of my favorite fighters. Hey, let's go.
Okay. So that's
Roberto
like
Duran. I don't know if Roberto Duran did he undisputed 35? I don't think he did.
Okay. Look, at the end of the day,
him one of the best lightweights that ever.
One of the best lightweights ever. He never undisputed there.
Yeah.
Roberto Duran done beat Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay,
he's an elite.
The Oscar one wasn't good for you.
So basically, no, because you guys opened the door up for any goddamn person to be elite. Then we've had 500 elite boxers. Is that what y'all saying? So then that's not elite.
it. You're being too cut and dry. It's just not that cut and dry. That's why we're having the whole discussion. You know,
y'all talking over each
several
other.
different things.
We can't hear y'all talking over each other.
So like I've always made this little thing nowadays because like the belts, there's so many belts. What if a guy just went and beat the best available guy and we saw his resume as beating the best guys with no belts? Will we not respect his resume the same way if he just took out the top dudes who were around? We would. We would look at him as elite because he's beating the guys. So I think like Oscar, that was him, or he never really did undisputed, but he beat names, like a lot of names.
But that's the difference. There's levels, bro.
No smoke. Oscar's resume can't be questioned.
So because you ducked, that makes you elite because you didn't duck? I'm just look, the argument that I'm making, because I'm just making an argument of all right, we're talking about elite. So then if undisputed isn't elite, it doesn't differentiate you from the rest, then what does in boxing? I mean, we're basically saying it doesn't matter to undispute, which only 11 men have done in the history of boxing. But we're gonna downplay that, so that's not elite. So then we're opening up the door to why we even have this conversation, because there's gonna be hundreds of quote-unquote elite boxers. So we gotta find another name, or we gotta find another name to, like, because we're putting everyone in this elite bucket. It's gonna be endless list if we're just putting up all the great fighters, bro. There's greats, and then there are undisputed champions of the world, bro. That's hard to do. That's why there's only been such a small number.
Let me briefly say this.
Johnny, can I make a statement?
Was nobody who, before there was multiple belts, real quick, when there was only one belt, none of those guys were elite because they didn't gather multiple belts. You got it.
Go ahead,
You asking me?
Taylor.
Oh, not me.
AB,
All right.
go ahead,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. I'm gonna be quick. I wrote down some points. But I look. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
we
you.
got you. Yeah.
All right. So if you look at the perspective of Canelo and what he was talking about, he was talking about the level of competition because he knows Crawford is a special fighter. If he does not, then that's on him. All right. And you can't really compare the fighters of old to the fighters today because it took a lot of fights to get the money that they're offering the fighters today. So what was elite back then is different than what's elite today because nobody's fighting today. Nobody's fighting today. So how can you define or compare what's elite with Oscar De La Hoya versus what's elite with Haney? You can't. They're not fighting. That's one point. Canelo knows that Crawford's a special fighter. If not, he's gonna say he's not elite. He's making a huge mistake. You're looking at skill set versus the level of competition. There's many attributes to eliteness. And my last point is this, okay? At the end of the day, who cares about the past and what makes you're elite? I think Canelo needs to be worried about what he's gonna face on that night. And whether or not he's gonna be an elite victim on Crawford's list that's gonna make Crawford elite. I'm out.
Shout out Bailey.
Appreciate you, AB.
Can
Listen,
I
this
chime
is
in
why,
real quick?
honestly,
My
guys,
bad.
I'm sorry, Malcolm. Let me just get this point on, and then you're up.
Sure.
This is why, honestly, I don't even feel comfortable with the word elite anymore. I've always been the type where I'm more of an alphabet, where these are A-level fighters, these are B-level fighters, these are C-level fighters. I'd rather classify fighters in different classes because it's okay to do that because you don't have to be as prescriptive. It's more with the skill level and the accomplishments. That's why I always stick to that. Like, yo, this dude is an A-level fighter because you can have multiple A-level fighters. You just can. But to Stock Chaser's point, the elite is supposed to be the best of the best. It's like the Hall of Fame. Like, this is why I have a problem with the criteria for the Hall of Fame today for baseball, basketball, football. To me, it's a lot easier. And I consider the Hall of Fame as you had to have been the best at your position for a sustained amount of time. Be considered one of the best in the game for a sustained amount of time for you to be considered the best of the very best that played the history of the sport. That to me is the Hall of Fame. But again, they're not looking at it. They're not looking at it like that anymore. And that's what Stock Chasers is alluding to, if I'm not mistaken.
Listen, Johnny, like that's exactly what I'm alluding to. Like, what's the standard here? And it's not only about the 4-belt era. In the 3-belt era, we had Mike Tyson. I think we had Lennox Lewis, unless I'm tripping and I got my information incorrect. We had Roy Jones. We had guys that were winning all 3 belts in their weight class. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if I look at elite, like, we're talking about elite, historical. We're not talking about, oh, this guy beat the guy. Like, bro, come on, man. There got to be some separation, and that's my point. I think Johnny understands.
No, devil's advocate once again. How about if you went undisputed by just taking the undisputed champion's belt? You could beat one guy and become undisputed by your definition, theoretically.
I mean, if you're the guy, if you're the undisputed guy, for example, right? You're Jermaine Taylor and you beat Bernard Hopkins. That makes you elite. You beat Bernard Hopkins when no one can, and you took
That's
all his
exactly
belts.
the name
What's
I
the
was
problem?
thinking of. I don't think anyone considers him a historically elite fighter. That's exactly the name I wanted to bring up when you were making that argument earlier. I mean, the rest of the
I
panel
mean,
chime in. Is Jermaine Taylor elite because he beat Bernard Hopkins for the undisputed?
Nah,
Nah, I
not my
yeah, I
books.
don't really
Yeah,
think he
yeah,
was, and
Got
I
the
I
haven't
don't.
big
watched
Bridge
too
beat off
much.
him by Kelly Pavlik.
Yeah, I don't think he was either. Malcolm, go ahead. I know I cut you off earlier, brother.
Nah, you good, man. You good. You good. Yeah. What up, Stock Chasers? What's good, bro? What up, Ryan?
What up?
yeah,
Yeah, man. Stock Chasers, I kind of get you. With your point. Maybe if it was more about like unifying and collecting belts at different weight classes, I don't think undisputed is should be the gold standard for it. Like I value belts, and we're in a day and age now where a lot of these fighters don't value belts for shit, and then we got a lot of them. But I value them, and you still have fighters that are on the wrong side of either promotion or they just have bad management and they can't get the fights and they're getting ducked by certain fighters. Like I'm pretty sure everybody on this panel will agree that David Benavidez is considered an elite fighter, correct?
I would say no.
I would say yes.
I got him there.
Ryan?
Yeah, I need to see
Ryan,
more. I need to see
Ryan's in
more.
the middle. Okay, and that's
Thank
fair.
All
We're
right,
not
that's
all gonna
fair.
agree.
That's
Yep.
fair. So he's usually considered elite. Do you guys consider Shakur Stevenson an elite fighter?
Yeah,
I do.
I mean,
I test says yes.
Absolutely, I do.
yo, but this is what I'm saying. It's also like I was saying in the
All right,
chat earlier. It's
hold on, Stock.
subjective.
My bad.
yeah,
Let me just
for
continue.
sure.
My fault,
Yeah,
bro. My bad about that. But yeah, that's just two guys that haven't undisputed, and a lot of Shakur's problem has been people avoiding him, the promotional issues, But you can tell he's an elite fighter. He hasn't got the trademark wins. That I will say that's a great argument point. He hasn't got his trademark wins at 135, but nobody's really trying to fight him, And then you got guys like Josh Taylor. Yes, he undisputed. I will never take that away from him. But this is why sometimes people got to live through things and we can't just check box recs and Wikipedias. When you look at the substance of his wins, there's a big argument that he lost to Jack Catterall. And then it's also the same thing with Regis. So when you
Regis.
look at
Yeah,
it, it's kind of like, all right, you won, but everybody's saying that you lost these two fights. And then what happens after? You get washed by T.O. Jack Catterall, I think he got that back. And I could have swore he got another loss after that. And he hasn't really looked the same. And
yeah.
then he moves up
His
to
last fight.
147.
Yeah, he lost.
Yeah, so it kind of shows that there's times where you got certain guys that they just get put in better positions, and it's not to knock them, but you'll have some dudes who get put into better positions and they'll get certain wins and certain decisions, and you'll have this great accomplishment, Like I give T.O. all the credit in the world for beating Josh Taylor. But then when you look at the substance of that win, it's like, damn man, what is like Josh Taylor ain't really showing us anything. You get what I'm saying? It's the same shit with Devin and Kambosos. I kind of said something about it earlier. Like, I'm not one of those that's like, oh, he just took it from one person. He had to have one fight. I'll give Devin full credit. The Kambosos win, at the time, it was looked at big because he beat T.O. But then when you look back at it, like Kambosos, he just looks like complete dog shit in a lot of his fights. So then we have to start questioning if that, you know what I'm saying? If that was an elite win and it's like you got an easy belt. You feel me? Yes, you went all the way to Australia and you had to do it twice. But sometimes I feel that we have to look at everything else that just goes on, and we have to really look at the substance of certain wins and how fighters play out. Because sometimes, you just get flukes. You know what I'm saying? So I always, like I was saying earlier, I like to look at it based on, I love to look at accolades and accomplishments, and I just got to see at how well you fight and the people you beat. And there's this small group of people who unfortunately get ducked and they're in bad promotional sides of the field or however you want to word it. And we can't see that side yet. So I can kind of see that arguing point, But that was it. I'm gonna kind of just let y'all cook, man. You feel me? Niggas gotta get ready for work, man. And hey, shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to you, Stock Chasers, CJ. That's that Devin shit, bro. I knew this was gonna happen. This is the Devin shit. But I fuck with you, bro. I fuck with you, Big BX. And Ryan Johnny,
Yes, sir.
yo, Ryan, I'm gonna tell you, I tell Johnny this shit to say all the time, bro. I might never be on the lots, bro, but I'm replay gang, bro. I always catch the replay,
I
so
appreciate you,
I'll
brother.
let you know that, bro. He'll tell you, bro. Trust me, bro. I'm all in the replays, so I'll holla at y'all, man. Y'all take it easy, man.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Malcolm, you were
Appreciate Malcolm.
a
Appreciate Malcolm.
graveyard shift warrior. I salute that.
Word. Shout out to
I've
all
been
the
there.
third shift workers that come and rock out with the Hangout spot, bro. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We are growing by the day. Tomorrow we got Brian Norman Jr. in the building. Next week we doing ladies night with an all ladies, minus myself, obviously. I'm not a lady, but we're doing an all ladies panel. You know, we're gonna talk that shit about the Amanda Serrano card and the state of some of the other boxers. We're doing that next week. We got a lot of big names coming up, but let's get a different opinion. H-Town is in the building. What's up, H-Town?
What up, Johnny? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
H-Town, baby. Now, hey, see, this is where I disagree with stock chasers, because to me, Floyd and Oscar and Tino Trinidad are way more elite than Devin Haney and Bud and Inoue. Hell, and more Anusik, too. They're more elite. They face the names of their generation. To be elite, you have to fight the top 5 guys in your division. If you move up in the next division, you got to fight those top 5 guys. In their division, those top 5 guys. You got to fight the names and the fighters. I mean, you can't just fight one guy and now you're elite. That's the problem, man. Like, I would have considered Devin elite, not because I hate on Devin or nothing, but he fought one guy. He didn't fight any of the other elite fighters at 135. You know, he fought Lomachenko, but come on, that's a but Ryan, that's an older Lomachenko on his way out with back problems. You know, you have to take it in consideration. He went up and fought Regis. Why did he fight Regis? Because he was the weakest pawn on the chessboard at 140.
That's nasty work.
Everybody, hold on. Not to cut you off, I'm gonna let you cook. But if you're moving up weight and looking to grab another belt because you're already undisputed at the lower weight class, why wouldn't you look for the best adjustment? You know, I can't fault him for that.
Nah, Brian Norman Jr. could do it against Sasaki, but let's not talk about that.
No, man, but Brian Norman's still at the weight class looking for the other guys, and he was looking for Boots. Boots ran away, bro. Same thing. Nah, see, you just try to hate on Brian Norman Jr., dog.
Look, Johnny, you pulled up.
Get in the fight, homeboy. Relax.
Yo, hold on. Wait a minute.
Y'all talking over each other.
Cause he's over here just coming to snap at me, bro. I'm gonna have to talk back. I ain't taking that from H-Town. Not today.
One by one, bro. This is why. Don't make me regret bringing 5 people to the panel, y'all. One by one.
Remind us, man, we're on the Norman spot. Remind us, man. No disrespect to the chat.
We will not have any Norman slander. I'm just kidding. We will not have any Norman slander on this channel. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Let him come back after you do your thing, H-Town.
Yeah, but so it's situational, you know? Like that was a situational thing. Like I would have considered Buster Douglas elite because he beat Mike Tyson. You know, you have to see, man, it's all situational, and when you catch these guys, some of these guys.
That's a great point. I didn't even think of that name. Yeah, he did go undisputed just by taking out Tyson, and then very next match he lost to Holyfield in devastating fashion. So yeah, great point.
It goes to what we said. You can have an elite moment, doesn't mean you're an elite fighter.
Yeah, CJ, you have to understand. Sometimes these guys they catch the champ in silk sheets, man. Or you catch him at the end of his career when his elite career is over, and just because he lost to this one guy, you just don't take all his accolades. That's not how boxing works.
That's exactly what happened in the Tyson Douglas fight. Yes, silk sheets. I explained it earlier. I laid it all out because I know his history well.
So I always say to people, like, is Tyson a real elite? He only had a 4-year window.
Yes, by all means.
He had a 4-year
I'm gonna die
window.
on that hill. I'm gonna die on that hill.
My man Lennox had a longer window, and he got all.
And he is also elite. But no, I can't deny what I seen in the 80s, man. I was there, so yeah. If you've seen it, I don't know how old you are, but if you was there and you seen how dynamic it was, his foot speed, his punch speed, his elusiveness, like he would put fools in the matrix. So most definitely.
Yeah, but that's where we leap back to the names. Like, who did he beat in the 80s?
Every top name in his, again, his window was short as fuck, but he wasn't ducking no one. He collected the belts one by one, like Stock Chasers was talking about, one by one, and then got the lineal. So he wasn't ducking nobody. He beat all the top competition of his era. So if we talk in that criteria, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just looking at it like 4 years is not a long time in boxing.
It's not.
Like,
It's not.
it's
But
not a
I
long
mean,
time. That's not a long run for me, at least. So I'm like looking at my guys who I call elite. They had runs like 7+ years.
I
And
can
I think we
understand where
got
you're coming
rookie
from.
stock.
I slightly disagree, but I can understand where you're coming from, man.
Hey,
Respect.
Ryan. So I bet you think LeBron James is better than Jordan.
Nah, I'm a Jordan fan.
Okay. I was about to. Because longevity don't mean nothing, man. If you ain't fight nobody, you could
Nah.
be holding the belt forever and fighting nothing but cans.
Counter argument. They said Tim Duncan was boring, but he had longevity. He was never like. I mean, he had a couple MVPs, but he was never like, on all the highlights. But he did his fundamentals. They call him Big Fundamental for a reason, and he's definitely elite. So I do get where you're coming from, man.
Nah, but I think they were a dynasty, right? They had like how many runs? Did they have 2-3 peats? The Spurs? They had a run, bro.
That's accurate. Yeah,
man. Spurs were beasts, bro. But let Stock Chasers come back, man. He wanted to.
Oh, my bad, Stock Chasers. Yeah.
man.
He said he wanted to come back to age time.
Come on,
it's
Stock
all,
Chasers.
it's
Tell us what you got.
It's all good. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I gotta chill, you feel me? But yo, check this out. Johnny, you pull up the pound for pound list again. And I'm gonna prove my point that 5 out of 10 are undisputed champions. The entire 1 through 4 is undisputed champions.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't that be half and half? Wouldn't that equally prove and disprove your point by your definition?
No. Okay, I'm talking about the 1 through.
That's what you said. 5 out of 10. I'm sorry.
No, because according to him, there's only 4 elite fighters in boxing today, right? Stock Chasers.
Okay.
I mean,
I see.
Listen, but I'm trying. Listen, yeah, pretty much. My point is, we got different words. We got outstanding. We got great. We got good. And I like what Johnny said, A plus C, because if we want to have that conversation, that's a better conversation to have. But bro, I just feel like you guys are opening up the doors, the floodgates to everyone's elite. So what's the point of the conversation? I mean, we're gonna end with 100,000 names.
Let me say
So
this.
who's really
I can
elite?
agree. I can agree that A, B, C, etc. is a better, a more interesting conversation to have. But I agree. I mean, you're being too narrow, man. I disagree because you're being too narrow. You can't try to select one thing and say, "Oh, only this thing makes you great." Because we had counter arguments with Buster Douglas and Jermaine Taylor, so you can't stand on that, homie. My opinion.
And it's also difficult because of what time frame we're talking about. Like, because it's like, bro, like we could go back 60 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot, bro. We could be here for days.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Which
but
means
there's a lot of fighters.
We shouldn't do that. We should do what we classify as it today. Because today is different. Today there's a 4-belt era. Today there's also a bunch of different freaking regional titles and silver belts and this and all this other shit that they make up, right? Today is different. You also got to consider this, Stock Chasers. This is why I think what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, but it's a little tough because a lot of guys in today's day and age aren't interested in going undisputed. And there's a lot of different reasons why. They can't stand the weight enough and get all these fights, all these sanctioning fees. They're not interested. They'd rather fight big money fights than to go undisputed. It's not about legacy like it was back in the days. That's why I think it's difficult. So there's gotta be something else, in my opinion, other than only undisputed champions.
That's my whole point. I'm not saying undisputed don't make you elite, but it got to be more.
I totally get Stock Chaser's point. I really do, and I respect his opinion. I think it's a good. It brings a different dynamic and a debate to the panel. None of us were callers, whatever, weren't ever saying it should only be guys that just clean up a division.
Yeah, that's true.
Take the straps. Nobody. And that shit is difficult. But then we'd only have 3 elite fighters in boxing.
Exactly. In the history,
Canelo, Bud,
can't do that.
and who's the other guy? Bivol,
yeah.
Bivol, Canelo, Crawford.
Well, Better BF did go undisputed, didn't he? He went and did it first.
Who?
Better BF.
Yeah, but he doesn't have him
Yeah,
anymore,
he
so he's
beat
not elite.
Bivol.
Well, they don't have it anymore, but you know what I'm saying.
He's not
let-
elite.
Brian,
Hell
let me ask,
Yo.
Brian, let me ask you a quick question, right? So we said Benavidez is elite. Okay. So you said he's elite now. Listen, I love Benavidez. He's probably, because I wouldn't say I have a favorite fighter, but I have probably like 3 or 4 favorite fighters, all different weight classes. Well, not really. Sapani and Polanco in the same weight class. But what I'm trying to say is, if let's say Bivol fights Beterbiev, wins, his next fight is with WBC title holder Benavidez at 175 for undisputed, then what does that make? That so then Benavidez basically doesn't gain anything because he's already elite. So doing that means nothing, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It just adds on to it, like it puts them in a higher tier. Like old boy alluded to before. Like, yeah, there's different tiers of elite.
Oh, now there's different tiers to elite. Johnny, you see what I mean, bro?
His
This is
argument,
getting
and
crazy.
I agree.
We
That
can't
was
do
his
that. Though.
argument.
Yeah,
No, we got
just making it
generational
more
talent.
complicated.
That's for sure.
We
got
Well,
dudes-
no, I mean,
Maybe that's a better phrase. Generational talent. Y'all
we got
got it.
dudes that like doing shit like Bivol. Bivol already beat 2 undisputed champions, and he still got time to do some more.
He elite.
That boy's bad, man.
Yeah, Bibble's elite, and I would say David's on the road to being elite, and getting these wins is what makes you elite. Getting those wins, you can't say someone's elite before he got the wins and he beat top guys. You know, they got to be the top guys first. This is the problem with this era. This era is the you're elite because I like you era. It ain't about you fighting the top guys. You know, back then, see, we come from the Kenneth El Gallo era, you know, where in the neighborhood, you fight each other, and in the neighborhood over, we're like, well, I beat everybody in my neighborhood, and everybody in your neighborhood's got your back. They'd be like, hey, well, Johnny in the other neighborhood, he got hands. All right, cool. Let's meet him in the border. Let's run it. You know, let's see who's got hands. That era don't exist no more. Now they say is who's got the best Ferrari. I don't care if you beat everybody. My car's better than yours. You know, and that's what's wrong with boxing today. That we don't have the Gallo era no more, where everybody wants to be the rooster, everybody wants to be the big dog, everybody just wants the big bag. That's it. You know, that's why I appreciate Brian Norman Jr. He's going about it the right way, even though my boy Stock Chaser don't agree, but he's going about it the right way, and he's got Haney or Pac-Man or Mario next. All those 3 names are great names, and they're on the road to being elite. You know that those are steps to being elite. Now, if he starts going backwards, then we start questioning him. Hey, well, you're fighting down in the ranks. What about these other guys that are up in the ranks? You know, what about this legend that you know that he's still there? He still wants to fight. Take him out of his misery. You know, it just the different era, man.
So real quick, do you guys think Tank is elite?
Man, I don't even think David Benavidez is.
My answer is
putting him in the hall.
My answer is no. And I know that might sound like I'm contradicting myself because I put eye test above everything else, and it sounds like the main contention H-Town has with that is he puts opponent / resume above that. But no, I just haven't seen enough, especially coming off that very controversial draw. I have not seen enough to put him in that tier. So no, not for me.
Tank has elite skills, but he hasn't tested those skills. He's been safe. You know, Floyd groomed him to be that way. That's the way he was taught. That's what he knows. You know, he knows take the second best fight that makes all the money. Don't take the best fighter because then you're going to mess up your money. Because now we've got it driven into the boxing fans' head that if you lose, you're trash, which is not true. All the greats lost because they fought each other. So if you don't fight each other, then of course you're always going to have that, oh, you didn't fight nobody. Imagine if Canelo didn't fight Bivol, didn't fight Floyd, and he just stuck around and fought all these other guys. He'd be 60-0 right now, and then people will be saying he's the greatest, and then we'll be saying, well, he didn't fight nobody. You know?
H-Town, are you saying that Floyd's approach to his career ruined boxing because the O is so so revered nowadays?
Well, Floyd made that a huge thing because that's all he's got to stand on. You know, like without that
That's
O,
all he got to stand on. Come on, champ. You talking
bro,
resume? Come on,
bro,
be honest.
bro. If they would have gave him the Castillo loss, people would have been like, "Yeah, he was an elite fighter, not the greatest of all time."
Hey, we was talking like is it who did you face or who did you beat? So you can't. I mean, we all agree that it's the balance of both. So you can't say, okay, arguably lost to Castillo and then
No,
came back.
no, but
Hold on, came back and whooped his ass the second time. You can't put that. You casting aspersions.
no, but
You're putting too much on it.
So you have to pay attention. I'm not disparaging Floyd as not being great. I'm saying if he didn't have that O, we'll view him as just another guy that was good in
No,
his era. If he didn't with
negative.
that O, no, that O makes him special.
Nah,
That
I
O
don't
makes
think so.
Elevate.
that
I don't
O
even
makes
put him up there. I don't put him as the GOAT. Don't get me wrong, but it does elevate him to another tier in the public's eyes. I agree with that. But even with one or two losses, it would still have been like, damn, what a defensive mastermind. Like he went from 2 phases through his career. Pretty Boy was a monster. And then, when his hand got hurt, Money Mayweather was a mastermind.
but
So
we would have been
I
equating
can't
him to
agree with
Whitaker. We would have been like he was this generation's Pernell Whitaker. We wouldn't be. He's TBE.
I think he had a better resume than
He had
Purnell,
better
but I love
fights.
Purnell. So
Yeah,
don't
for
get me
sure. He
wrong.
had better fights.
Yeah, of course.
And he fought up. You gotta understand that. He was small
Word.
at the end,
Yeah.
fighting at
This,
54.
let's get a new perspective. I love the screen name. LeBron isn't elite.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He just made that up tonight. That's funny. Hey, let's go, Champ Cook.
Nah, man. It's absolutely
Oh, I should have
genius.
fucking known. I should have fucking known.
Trolling.
It's absolutely genius, man. Like LeBron ain't never been elite, man. You know what I'm saying? Never been elite.
Let's not go down that road, champ, because we'll be here for 3 hours, bro.
Yeah, man. I could debate about that all day. But yeah,
Exactly. What you got, bro? What you got? You been listening?
Yeah, I heard that Wild Tank comment about Tank not being elite, and then you know what I'm saying. The opposition, bro. Tank has always fought hard opposition. Like, why do we discredit this, bro? Like, think about this. Y'all want Tank to fight Shakur so bad, right? But when you look at Shakur's resume and then you compare Tank's resume, do you think the level of opposition on Shakur's resume could beat the level of opposition on Tank's? Like,
I
if
don't
we
think
really,
it's far apart. I think it's comparable, myself.
bro, it's so far apart. It's not even funny, bro.
Nah,
it's not even funny.
That's your bias talking.
There's such
That's
a
crazy.
huge skill gap in their level of opposition. It's not even funny, bro. I'm telling
Can I
y'all.
ask a question though? Can I ask a question?
That's cap, Tip. That's cap.
Go ahead.
Is this a quick question? So I understand. I'm not saying that Tank hasn't fought great fighters because he has, but why has he weight drained a few, put a clauses on a few? Like, that's just my question. If he's,
Hey,
He
man.
ain't gonna do no Crawford shit.
When you got it to your advantage, why not? You know what I'm saying?
That's wild. Oh my God, you just said that.
Come
bro?
on, that's not an answer.
See
You didn't
what I'm
answer the man's
saying,
question.
bro?
I mean,
You
and
see
then
what
I-
I'm
and then
that's
I-
the
that- and
thing
then
you gotta throw at me.
and then I- that-
Boxing, gladiator sport.
Hey, man, it's an even
Stipulation?
playing field. It's an
Nah,
even
this
playing
ain't
field, bro.
WWE. This ain't that.
Stipulations. It's a ladders match. Come on, we can't do that.
Yeah, this ain't
Bro, we're talking
WWE,
about
man.
it. We put it on an even playing field, bro. What are you talking about?
That's duck talk. I
Well,
mean, not duck talk,
like, did
but
we?
you're trying to really move the odds in your favor. That's not respectable in my opinion.
I mean, that's what everybody does. That's what every promoter does for their fighters. They move it in the odds of it.
Hey,
Listen,
Crawford ain't doing that.
Yeah, I
Crawford ain't
digress.
doing
A
that.
lot of fighters don't do that nonsense.
That man about to fight up.
Bro.
Roberto Duran didn't do that to Sugar Ray. He came up.
I mean, we got Crawford going up to 168, man. No hydration clause. Ain't that crazy?
I don't think Shane Mosley did that with Oscar when he came up.
If he fought David Benavidez, there'd be more than a rehydration clause. There'd be a punch
No, that's
count
a great
clause.
point.
There'd be a punch count clause. There'd be a stare down clause. There'd be all types of clauses.
Come on. No,
Santa,
but the man made a
Santa
great point
Claus.
when saying that Crawford is moving up to 168 with no rehydration. I understand he's
Yeah.
not the A side. He couldn't necessarily demand that, but that's putting your nuts on the table. That's bravery. That's what I respect.
It's because it's Canelo, bro. Canelo ain't that
Bro,
big. If it was David, they offered David a fight at 164, bro. Like, come
Yeah,
on. You
but
think they
Tank
were
do that
going
with
to put a
everybody though.
rehydration clause on that?
Who Tank fought that was David Benavidez level? Nobody.
I mean,
And he putting clauses on them.
what David Benavidez level fighters are out there?
Well, that's what I'm saying, Tip. Like, you gonna go up for that guy, you obviously gonna put some stipulations in. I don't agree with it because I'd rather see the dudes just fight where they want to fight at. Why the hell we need stipulations for when we got weight classes? Like, this shit's crazy. You got weight classes and you want to make him 1 pound lower. That makes no sense.
I mean, yo,
what are these notable fights Tank has put a clause on, bro?
let me give you one right
Garcia?
now.
That's it.
Put a clause on that dude for.
That's it. Like that's the only fight we can
Mario
mention is Ryan
Barrios.
Garcia.
We know there was a rehydration clause in that one.
Man, so he says.
And we also know that he brought up a
we heard about that 3 years after the fight.
130 pounder. So
yeah,
he brought up a 130.
That don't mean it's not bad. He brought up a 130 and a 126 pounder.
Yo, listen, Tip can't even defend this shit. One thing that Tank do though is get the bag, but Tip can't defend this. I'm no Tank fan can, bro. They just look the other way. It's regular shit they do.
Yo, is
That's
this
what means
tip from
Tank doesn't have
TBV?
skills.
Is this tip from TBV?
Yeah.
Hey, you got the real hardcores over here. I'm sorry, champ. I didn't seen you up there, but we gonna point out the holes in your argument. We gonna do that.
Yeah, it's a real tip. But why did this shit become a Tank conversation? We talking about criteria for a league, bro. What y'all done did, bro?
They brought up
Come
Tank
on, man.
resume, man.
I brought him up.
They said Tank won't fight nobody.
Yeah,
No. I asked this Tank elite. That's all I asked. I didn't say anything else.
Corner, bro. You're gonna have to go in the corner, bro. For real, you can't. Chad wants to ask a question. There's way too many people on this panel. We can't be talking over each other. Chad, what's your question, brother?
Hey guys, panel's cooking. Loving, really enjoying listening to you guys. So first, I'll just say quick. I think Tip's point. If you just look strictly at 135, I think Tip might have a point. If we look at Tank's competition and Shakur's competition at 35, then yeah, Tank definitely far and away beyond Shakur. But I think when you look overall, that's when things get debatable. But guys, I would love to hear what the panel thinks on the topic as far as elite goes when we're looking at a fighter like Gabe Rosado. You know, when you got a fighter that's, or say like a Sean Porter too, like a guy that's fought everybody but has losses on their record. I mean, Gabe Rosado is an extreme example, but I think you guys know what I'm trying to ask with that. I'll go back to listening. Thanks.
What was his question? I'm sorry. It was
I think just Gabe never won a title, so I don't know, man. He just been a gatekeeper. But like as far as Sean Porter, yeah, at least Sean Porter, he's taking all the fights, man. He's fought Keith, he fought Spence, he fought Danny, Broner, he fought everybody, Crawford. But yeah, he won.
That's why I differentiate. Porter had bigger names and was more accomplished, so I would put him, like I said again, Porter. I mean, whatever you want to say, B plus, borderline elite. And there you go. That's what B plus stands for, borderline elite versus Rosado, B minus. You feel me?
So Johnny, real quick, because I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna just look. I'm gonna land my plane one more time. I just want all you guys to think how none of you guys have given a solid checklist, a solid checking of boxes, nothing at all. Everything's been extremely subjective, opinions flying left and right. I'm giving you guys something that is solidified. Undisputed makes you elite. Thanks for having me. Y'all have a good night.
Damn, I guess George Kambosos was the most elite fighter of them all.
We went down that road,
Hey,
you know.
he had the franchise. He wasn't undisputed.
No, I get it.
He was slightly off base because we did settle on 4 criteria. It was what? It was skills.
trying
Skills
to
pay
get
the
there.
bills. You feel me? It was opponents. It was accomplishments, and the fourth one, timing. Yeah, so that's the four. You can't just boil it down to one. You mad because we didn't put up one and make it simple like you wanted to, but no, we got our criteria. Let's go.
We were working towards that criteria.
Well, George Kambosos had a better undisputed run than Terrence Crawford.
He never was undisputed. What you talking about?
Bro, stop discrediting, bro. He was undisputed, bro.
I don't count franchise belts, bro. I mean, you count fake belts.
Stock chasers.
Listen, man.
Too much
fake belts.
It's not my fault that the WBC created a new belt and that's what they recognized it as and what the fight was promoted.
You know what that belt was created for?
No, I don't recognize it.
They promoted the fight as undisputed, bro. We can't take that
for guys not to fight their mandatories, which is crazy.
Hey, Johnny.
I mean, that's basically so time out, bro. That's like saying anybody that holds the WBA Super isn't technically a real champion.
Franchise champ. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So then I guess Earl versus Bud wasn't undisputed then by that logic.
Nah, because WBA, they're not even on BoxRec, bro. Like they done exiled themselves by doing dumb stuff.
What I'm saying is for the simple fact that the franchise was looked at as a super, then that fight really wasn't for undisputed because only the regular defends mandatories.
Yeah,
that's
the
real
and
champ.
This is what I'm saying. Because now look at the WBA at welterweight. It's in shambles. Skip. Rolly is the regular there. Shakram Giasov gave up his position instead of fighting Stanionis to give Stanionis an opportunity. And now look, he's gonna get the shaft because he did that. Because now Rolly gonna get elevated to champ, not Shakram Giasov. That's why the WBA is dumb as hell. Like, it's the worst one.
Rolly might be the greatest 3 division champion of all time.
Yow. Shout out to the WBA and shout out to Mahmoud Char, man. Yeah, we at work, man. Shout out to my third shift workers, man. Mahmoud Char, man. You know what the fuck going on with this WBA shit, man. Yeah, man. Whoa, Tip Bennett, you doing that shit again. You hating, excuse you, man. I think you need to relax.
No, Treese, wait 1 second. Fix your mic. We hear your background.
I'm at work. I'm at work, gang. I'm at work. It's going.
Can I get a number 2 with no keys, Treese?
It's gonna be background. I can't help you with that.
Let him talk so you can get the fuck off with that background noise.
You feel me, Johnny? They ain't got no vision. Johnny, these guys, they don't know what to do, man. See, they rookies to this shit. Let the host, man. Excuse me, man. But what I want to say is I don't give a fuck about elite and all that other shit that y'all talking. You know, I don't give a fuck about that. I heard something about a criteria. See, when I'm thinking criteria, man, I'm thinking about violence. I'm thinking about visibility, and I'm thinking about innovation, my nigga. When I say innovation, I mean, did you inspire motherfuckers to want to be like you, gang? Is there motherfuckers who running around want to be a Floyd? Is it motherfuckers running around who want to be a Ali? It is. Is it motherfuckers who running around want to be a Broner? It is. Is it motherfuckers running around who want to be Mike Tyson? It is. You see me? Shit like this. Shout out to Joe Calzaghe who went down undefeated, but I don't see too many motherfuckers running around. Oh, I want to be the next Joe Calzaghe. Nah, he wasn't too violent either, and his visibility was quite low. But we fucked with him though. You see me? Violence, visibility, and innovation. That's what makes you a motherfucking elite or a legend or all this other shit that y'all talking about. Pacquiao is motherfucking elite because this little motherfucker's running around trying to be Pacquiao. And shout out to my old nigga who finna put hands and hooves on Barrios, goddammit. But shout out to the Hangout spot. Shout out Toledo, man. Hey, man. Hey, I see you shaking that head, Johnny. You know Pacquiao finna get it done. And Brian Norman. Ooh, shit. Y'all be cool, man.
Brian fucking Norman, by the way, we got him on tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The champ will be here, talk that shit. Shit went down on TBV last night. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta
check on out, fellas. Appreciate y'all.
Ryan, I appreciate you jumping on, my brother.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Yo, make sure y'all follow my brother Ryan, man, at Boxing Talk Up North, man. He doing shit up. If y'all haven't smashed that like, please do so and spread the word so we can get some more subscribers. But yeah, we got Brian Norman Jr. tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're gonna talk that Devin Haney shit, baby. We got to get that shit shaking, bro. We
Hey,
put
Johnny, I
shit in
want
motion.
to say this real quick. Who was the last caller? I heard
That was
him before too.
Treat from Ohio.
Trace. Oh yeah, definitely. He got. I'll tell you this. He got his internet personality polished. He always delivers. Very entertaining. And shout out to him. And I respect
Yeah.
most of his opinions, but where I disagree with him is obviously I don't agree with his criteria because that's like more. I would say that fits legendary more than elite because you can be elite unknown. You feel me? And therefore you're not legendary because by definition, a legendary fighter is widely known. But also, he said motherfuckers want to be Broner. Negative. I don't know one, except for Yayan. Maybe I'm wrong. Yayan want to be Broner, but I don't think that's a widely held opinion. Y'all got it.
Hey Johnny, I just want to ask one question, man. Why did Ness cut the stream when Bill was being pressed last night? Just I'm gonna hop on, but you got to fill us in. What happened? He started getting pressed. Ness cut the stream, and we went radio silence.
So it was bad funny H-Town because I thought it was me. I thought it was my internet that went out because my shit froze. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, really? Now? Like, this shit is just starting to get popping. What happened was one of his dogs knocked the internet line out of the wall. At least that's what he told us. And then the show, it kind of jumped back in, and then we were all like in the panel by ourselves. But then I was looking and I'm like, yo, bro, I think we're off. I think we're kicked off YouTube. The show is over. And the show ended up ending, man. It ended at a good spot, bro. It was nasty work, Daddy Life.
Did y'all see what Ness tweeted 43 minutes ago?
Nah, what did he do? Nah, I've been on here. What did he tweet? Ness? Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. What, Ness from the TBV?
Yeah, he said, I'm told Brian Oman Jr. was offered a fight against Devin Haney in Saudi Arabia.
You know what? Yeah, Vegas sent me that. Yeah. I didn't know that was from the. Yeah, actually, it was from the boxing.
That's surprising. So you said he was offered it and no response yet, or he was offered and turned it down?
Whoa. We can't jump to conclusions. It just says, I'll read you the tweet right now. It says, I'm told Brian Oman Jr. was offered a fight against Devin Haney in Saudi Arabia. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything else.
Why would you? That's not a fight to have in Saudi, bro. That is a Georgia. That is an Atlanta, Georgia fight, bro.
I'm just reading this, a little while ago. I think Vegas sent it to me. I don't know, less than an hour ago. But we got the champ on them all, so we're gonna talk about this. We are gonna talk about this. So we'll see. Hopefully, it materializes. I agree, man. I would prefer this fight in the States, man. But
that's why I wouldn't. Me personally, I wouldn't allow the Haneys to play this game, bro.
But you know what, though, Tip? It's a game that the Normans are okay playing because they're okay with fighting outside of the States because their mentality is we are world champion. I am a world champion.
Yeah,
so
but
we will fight in Japan. We will fight in Saudi. We will fight in Russia if that's the case. Like they have no issues getting on a plane and going to defend their title in places outside the States. That's just their mentality.
The visibility of this fight will be even bigger nationally. Like people in the US, like Norman isn't a household name yet. Fighting Devin Haney in Atlanta, Georgia on American soil, he becomes a household name. Like nationally, that's going to be a huge fight televised for sure.
I would prefer for it to be in the States because I will be there if it's in the States.
It only makes sense.
Saudi, if that shit happens, I will definitely be there. Fight Hook News, you capping, bro. Don't do it, Norman, shaking your head. Haney gonna put your career on pause. You don't even believe that, champ. I know you the Haney guy over there, but you don't believe that, bro. I'm telling you, man. If the Haneys agree to this fight, bro, I got to give them credit because I thought that it was all a facade, bro. I really did, man. The fact that this dude is coming up to 147 to challenge the Beast, the B-Norm, the Storm. That's crazy, bro.
Hey Johnny, let me.
You got left hook problems with Ryan, bro. What you think's gonna happen in this fight?
That's crazy.
That's just my opinion, guys. Don't kill me for my opinion.
No, I can't believe I didn't think about that earlier. But no, great point, Johnny. I got to bounce out. Shout out. Salute for having me on, man. I'll be back.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you. Shout out to CJ Rich. But yeah, man. I mean, what y'all think, man?
Hey, Johnny, let me get my two-tone on. Just keep Bill away from his water. We don't want no Austrian allegations after the fight. We don't want no court dates after the fight. We don't want no assault. Hey, we don't want no assault cases after the fight because the man's going to be down bad. That's going to be aggravated assault.
They trying to push the Normans to a Saudi so they can do a conspiracy theory. Is that what you're saying, H-Town?
Yeah. Let me get my two-tone. They had something in the lion meat over there in the camel a stew or whatever her two-tone says. All right, but hey, if Haney takes that fight, I'll salute him. The man's got balls if he does that. But I really don't think he wants that fight. I think they're gonna try to get the lowest offer they could get on the table, so they could say they made an offer, and Ness could say they dug, and we'll go with the whole, usual Haney rhetoric on how nobody wants to fight him, but there's no real offers being made.
Well, we'll see. Again, I'm done with jumping off, jumping up and down, and when I hear stuff like this and I see tweets like this, because this is boxing, bro. You can see this tweet today, and then tomorrow talks fell apart. Somebody walked away from the negotiations, or they're looking in another direction. I'm gonna tell you straight up and down, if this fight doesn't happen, I will go out on a limb and tell you that it ain't because of the Normans. That's all I'm gonna say. I could be wrong, but again, we got the champion here tomorrow, so we're definitely going to address that. And I can tell you right now, or I've had the conversation with them when I was in training camp. They would take the Haney fight in a heartbeat, absolutely in a heartbeat. Any of those guys moving up from 140, they would take in a heartbeat. So,
and the guys in the chat are saying that they should take the 1.7 million. Hey, bro, we don't even know what the pot is. We can't tell Brian Norman to take 1.7 if the pot's 15 million, 10, 12 million. It's not the way it works, man. They got to negotiate and see what the fight's worth. And Junior's got the belt. He's a champ. He's worldwide known now. Devastating knockout, viral. It's a different animal now, man. This is what happens when you move up and you're fighting the right fights and you put in those knockouts out there and those performances. They take you up. Today's price ain't yesterday's price.
Yep. And he said that. I had him on one time and he said that. And, his response for the whole thing was, obviously they didn't think I was worth the money by not giving me the $2 million. So you know what I'll do? I'll go back to the table. I'll do what I need to do. And then we're going to come back to the table. And we're going to say, what about now? Am I worth it now? And so far, and this was before the Cuevas fight, you had Cuevas and then you had the Sasaki knockout. So far, they've held their end up to the bargain. Just saying. So we'll see how that plays out, man. We done really went off the topic, though. Tip, where you coming from? Training?
Yeah, I was at the gym.
What's going on? How's training going? I heard Lobo was on did his unguarded, bro. How did that go? I didn't see it yet.
It was mid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was entertained.
He said it was mid. It was
Yeah,
mid.
you know what
That
I'm
boy
saying?
working, bro. You sure you ready, bro?
It was
working.
cool. It was cool.
He said it was cool. It was
Listen,
cool.
I've been straightforward with everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I've literally had to work 12-hour shifts within like the last 3 to 4 weeks, bro.
Now, Tip, the community want to know: are you making excuses already?
Nah, like, bro, it's not an excuse, bro. It's just reality. It's life. You know what I'm saying? I'm working. Like, people ask me, yo, is Tip training? I'm telling you, no, I'm not training. I'm working, bro. I have a job. You know what I'm saying? I have to make a living here.
My brother, me as an older man and just a fan, I'm just gonna say this out loud. We got Keem the Dream working 12-hour shifts, doing dance recitals with the family, and still training.
Tip, Toledo Tree said you might get beat on, bro. He's turning on you, bro.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen. Listen,
damn,
we gonna turn it up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Look. I already had. It's like this. We in like the last 6 weeks leading up to the fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, last 7 weeks. That's enough time for me to do everything I need to, especially with the last 2 weeks that'll be closing, going into the fight. Oh, it's gonna pick up. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's just a matter of the work rate. That's all that, you know what I'm saying? Once the breathing is down pat, there's nothing else that needs to be worried about. I promise y'all. We're gonna have a good, exciting, fun fight. I promise you. Promise y'all not gonna want to miss it. Cause
Okay.
I'm telling you, y'all not gonna want to miss this, bro. Y'all not gonna want to miss this one.
So it's safe to say you're going for the stoppage, Tip. There will
Hey,
be a stoppage.
hey man, if I gotta go for the stoppage, I go for the if I gotta outbox him, you know what I'm saying? I gotta outfight him. I'll outfight him. I'll brawl him. I'll brawl him. You know, it's all it all depends on what style he presents. Whatever style he presents, this is the thing. Like boxing, it's a science, bro. It's a science. Every style has a counter to it. You know what I'm saying? So whatever style he presents is what style I'm going to use to counter and be effective. You know what I'm saying? Let's put it like this: a straightforward motherfucker, he gonna struggle against somebody who's gonna come forward and just punch on him all day because he ain't got shit else. He ain't got nothing. He's not elusive. He can't move. He's stuck in mud. You know what I'm saying? But against a boxer, you know what I'm saying, he's going to keep providing that pressure. He's going to wear him down in the later half of the fight. Like, you just got to look at boxing when like, you're looking at styles, bro. I'll tell you. So, I already, like, my thought process is already there. I know what I have to do. I see what he did against Miles, you know what I'm saying? I've seen the little clips that he sent to Ness, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen it all. So, it's just on fight night. You know, it's like I said, man, Floyd Corrales, man. Floyd Corrales.
So are you worried about getting stop tips? As Lobo said, Miles was just a bigger man. He actually packs power, and he's gonna be there to put you away.
Bro. But I'm not even going to answer that. I'm not even going to answer that.
Yeah. What's the yo? I may need to get y'all for one last minute face off the week of the fight. What y'all think? You and Lobo, one more last minute face off.
Shit, it don't matter to me, bro.
We may have to do that, but we have to do it the week of, like a couple days out, or the week before.
Are you going to the
Yeah.
event?
I may. I haven't figured it out yet because that's that's right after my birthday. So I'm trying to figure out what we're doing for that. I don't know if the wife wants to do something that week or the week before. We're working on that. We are working on that, bro. I'd like to be there though.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this a masterclass, man. It's gonna be a masterclass.
Either way, if I'm not there, I'm watching. But I'm gonna try to be there. I'm really gonna try to pull up. But
Yeah, I'm gonna send this fight to Tim Bradley, bro.
Oh shit.
Hey Johnny, let me dip out, man, so you guys can get in.
Appreciate you, brother. H Town. Always representing. Mikal and Malcolm are back. I'm about to cut it short soon though. So what y'all got, man?
You're
Real quick.
good. Can I just
We
get this
call
off
it.
real quick, man? I just had to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
something,
yeah.
man.
Yep.
First off, shout out to Tip, bro. I'm not gonna lie, Jonathan Sims' call the other day was that shit's crazy, bro. Yeah, he had me on the fence. Like I'm like, yo, I might just root for Lobo now. So I still fuck with you, Tip. I'm still rooting for you, but that call was crazy,
That was
bro.
a masterclass. That was a masterclass.
Yeah, so I'm hoping you get that, bro. But you're training still, right? You're still able to get your training in. That's all
Yeah,
that really
bro.
matters.
Like,
If you,
no, I've been able to get, like, bro. I just haven't. It hasn't been consistent. Like, I've been able to go to the gym, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I haven't. Like, so in my warehouse, right? We've been understaffed. I'm working with 8 crews. I'm understaffed. It's only 2 of us in the joint because my lead coordinator quit on us. So you know what I'm saying. Like, we're in the process where we gotta like learn shit that he knew because he just walked out the job. And you know what I'm saying? Now we just got 2 new hires. So I'm able to get out early now. You know what I'm saying? So shit is coming to fruition, you know what I'm saying, as it's leading up to Border Wars. So shit's about to pick up for me. It's going to pick up for me. So don't be worried, bro. Like I said, I only need 2 weeks.
all right. And all right, so we got faith in you. And this is the last thing I wanted to get off. I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling y'all all this. Quote me on it. Remember this shit, right? Devin already said the bullshit that they were gonna price themselves out. Bill was on Twitter and he said that they're gonna get the same offer that they did get for Boots. Watch this come up as a 1.7 mil offer. It's gonna get declined because their stock went up ever since going to Japan. And then they're gonna say they outpriced themselves, and anybody who doesn't like the Normans and anybody who's pro Devin Haney stock chasers, they're gonna say that he ducked. You feel me? That's all I'm gonna say. That's exactly how that's gonna roll. Just remember this shit. The Haneys, they know what they're doing. You feel me? They know exactly what they're doing. They had this shit planned, man. They avoided the smoke at 140 just to go up to 147 right after Boots left, and they just pulling some bullshit. But that's all I'm gonna say. But just remember what I said, man. That's all I'm gonna say. But shout out to y'all.
I agree with Malcolm. Although I don't want to believe that because I do want that fight, bro. I don't know. Stock chasers, you said that I got scared when I read something. What was that? Ain't nothing about Devin Haney that scares me against Norman, bro. I'm sorry. I know he can box. I know he can move. But nah, I'm good. I want that fight. I'm not gonna lie, man. This is 2 times in a row, and I'm not gonna sit here and take credit for it, but this is 2 times in a row where I'm on the TVV panel and I talk about Brian Norman and Haney, and all of a sudden Bill pops up and Senior pops up, man. So, man, I think I should get just a little bit of credit if that fight does happen. I'm just saying. What y'all think? Macau, what you think, man?
Yeah. So I'm looking at it. It just really doesn't. The fight doesn't make sense for the Haneys, particularly. You just went in there and you fought a safe fight. I think, honestly, my opinion, to get to the Ryan fight, you fought a safe fight, and then you're trying to fight a puncher at 47 for your next fight after you fought safely and executed a game plan, and you executed a game plan to the T. But I don't. It's just a puncher next, a big puncher who's a champion. I don't know. I just don't see where it favors the Haneys. But I mean, if he wants to take a chance to be great, why not take a chance? I just don't see it. So it wouldn't surprise me if the fight doesn't materialize in the end. But I just don't see it.
Hey. I've been saying it all along, bro. I think it's a facade, bro. Go fight Richardson Hitchens, bro. Take care of that smoke.
Hold on.
Don't
But
come up here, bro. Don't come up
listen. Y'all seen the breaking news. And at the end of the day, this is what pisses me off with all y'all Devin Haney haters. This is what he does, bro.
I'm not
Devin
a Devin
Haney don't run
hater,
from the
though.
smoke. But he don't run from the smoke, bro. He never has. And he pops up like Candyman when it's showtime. Y'all know this already. Listen, Brian Norman better accept that offer because it's already known as out there. Bill Haney wasn't capping. Listen, Devin wants that smoke. And when he wins,
he was capping last night. There was no offer last night.
Okay. Yeah. Why was Senior getting blown up though? Why was he getting blown up the entire call?
That wasn't. He said that wasn't nobody calling.
That's what he said. Come
on.
Yo, I want this fight to happen so bad because listen, y'all quick to forget your boy Devin Haney fought somebody who was on PEDs. Y'all seen him get exposed by Rolly right on his next fight. Got suspended for a year, but y'all done drag my man through the dirt. I want this fight, and Brian Norman better accept it. And tomorrow I'm gonna be here again, telling him to take that fight because we need that for the culture. At the end of the day, Devin Haney in 12, bro. Light work, easy on the feet, easy on the feet. That's all I have to get off my chest, yo. Y'all be easy.
Appreciate you, my brother.
And just one other thing, I was asking when the whole Brian Norman Jr. and I didn't watch it live, but I went back and watched it. So everybody was going crazy about it. So as I'm watching it, I'm asking myself, I'm like, Bill Haney saying all the right things, but neither Bill Haney or Brian Norman Sr. are the money man. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be able to make a fight like this happen. So they have to go through channels and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think, it was good to put the feelers out there and see if the people was interested in that fight and see if, you know what I'm saying, you can make the money bigger. I see what they're doing from their side. They're doing their jobs. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, ain't neither one of those guys make that fight for real.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Bob and Turkey.
Yeah, they're not the guys that are going to negotiate the contracts. They're just the guys that are talking shit about wanting to make it happen. But I will tell you again, the Normans are old school, meaning, if there's a fight that presents itself, but there's another fight that maybe Adrian Clark and Fighters First Management may want, they'll go and they'll say, nah, we want that one instead.
Yeah.
So again, but it's all about negotiation, right? Again, it has to be a fair pot because the people that said, well, why did Norman walk away from the 1.7 million? Like, what did he bring to the table? Bro, Devin Haney's moving up to fight a champion at 147. He brings a belt to the table. And this is a different perception because we live in a world of perception. We also live in a world of what have you done for me lately? This is a different Brian Norman than it was before that whole Boots negotiation fell apart. I think we could all say that. Now, we know Devin Haney's a big name, but again, he's moving up a weight class to challenge a world champion. So as long as they come with a fair offer, and I'm telling you, I'm sure he's going to say this tomorrow, they have no issues taking that fight. But like Malcolm said, I don't know if this is true. I mean, it could be a facade where they're throwing out a bullshit offer just to be able to say, well, you know what? We throw out an offer. He didn't accept it, so we moved on. What's fucking fair is fair, and it's a negotiation. So, that's all I'll say on the matter.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know, man. I think that Brian Norman, the whole Norman camp, senior, junior, Adrian, I think they came up with a plan. They said, it's prize fighting, so the risk has to match the reward. And the risk of Boots didn't make sense to the reward that they were offering at the time. And they said, you know what, we're going to bet on ourselves. We could take this fight now for this money now, but we feel like we'll be worth more later when we come back to the table. And it looks like they made the right gamble.
Yeah, no, we'll see. We got Chad back in the building. Give me 1 second, Chad. We got Bugatti Mods with the $10. My man, what's going on, brother? He said, yow. Salute emojis. Just checking it, paying my respects. Hashtag Norman in 5, pulling out the big guns. This is for you, my brother. Appreciate the super chat and the donation, bro. We're 1 super chat down from hitting our goal, y'all. Stock chasers, you were just here with the $2. I appreciate you, my guy.
Straight cash, homie.
He said, will Norman Jr. accept or duck a la Teofimo Lopez? Bro, you're going to be able to ask him tomorrow. Make sure you chat that in tomorrow, bro, because we ain't pulling no punches. You know how we rock out here at the Hangout spot, bro. We got the WBO welterweight champion fresh off of his knockout of the year candidate against Jin Sasaki. Y'all know what went down. We did a live fight chat in the morning, and it was popping, bro. We were live at 7 a.m. in the morning. Mikhail, were you on that live fight chat? I think you were on that, right?
Yeah, I was on that. Yeah, I was on that.
I think you were on that. But we did it up that day, and then after that, we took callers. It was at about a 4-hour, and I think it was a 4.5-hour show that we talked about it. And then in the evening, we went live that evening, and we had Brian Norman Sr. on, and he was talking about obviously the performance and what he believed or what he wanted next. Obviously, we did mention Devin Haney and during that interview, but shit got popping yesterday. Obviously, in the boxing voice while I was on the panel. Where's the chat? Before I get to you, Chad, give me 1 second because I want to find something here. There's somebody, shout out to H-Town that said 10% matchmaker fee. Johnny, get that bread. Word, somebody need to hook me up, man, because again, I ain't gonna take credit for it, but I gotta be honest, bro. This is 2 times in a row I'm on that panel. I mentioned the Nest. Yo, we want Brian, we want B Norm the Storm wants Devin Haney, and I guess Bill was listening and tweets went out. They both went on the panel. So if this fight happened, I'm definitely going to say I played at least a Ostarine part in it, bro. What is that percentage that Ryan had in his system, the 1 billion or whatever it is? I played a little bit of that in making this fucking fight happen. Can I get a fucking amen?
Amen, brother.
It got to be just as effective. I mean, we saw Ryan on fight night. God damn. Yo, because Johnny, I'm saying, yeah, man, it's great. And last night it was just starting to really heat up, you know.
Damn, Chad, what happened, bro? Why the shit had to go out at that point in time, bro? It was cooking.
Yeah, it's got to be some like conspiracy. I don't know. Like we had the whole T.O. Ness conspiracy, and then we had a whole Haney Gate thing go on last night. I mean, TBV's getting crazy, like third dimension conspiracy YouTube rabbit hole type of stuff. I don't know, bro.
Can I get a hell yeah? Give me a hell yeah. I don't know. Somebody got to go investigate TBV, bro. They tripping over there. I don't think they want that smoke either. You know what the narrative gonna be, right? If this fight gets made, the boxing voice against the Norman spot in the Hangout spot. Everybody's gonna run with that.
Yeah, I say embrace it, Johnny. I mean, shit.
Hell yeah, we going full in, bro. We killing TBV on this fight.
Like if that goes forward like that, if the fight gets made. And you're right. You and the Normans got to collaborate on like a T-shirt or something, man. You guys got to honor the moment with something. I don't know what, but a T-shirt would be great. But anyway, I really want the fight though. I do, and it seemed like I don't know, man. I thought the heat with Bill and Senior was real. Like. A lot of people in the chat was going crazy, but like a lot of people in the chat was they're either dismissing Bill or Senior, like they don't like him, or they think like it's somehow fake or they're putting it on. No, man, I thought it was legit, and to be honest, I thought Bill started to look not uncomfortable, but like not maybe that's business mode Bill. I don't know. It was like almost like a different, like he was trying to like get serious and he was trying to take hold of the discussion with a different kind of vibe than what we see from Bill normally. So I don't know, man. I just hope that they can make the fight. And yeah, I'm saying for anyone talking about Haney, like it's too much after the Ramirez fight. Well, no, man, no. Like look at. Like he had a shakeout with Ramirez, and that is what it is. And now he's got to move on. He's got to find a fight that's suitable to a fighter at his level. That's what he's got to do. Anything less than that, no, man. He's got to get back in there. He's got to get back on the horse, so to speak. I think the Norman Jr. fight's great for that. It's perfect, and I'm sure the Haneys believe that with Devin's experience, and just his level, that they can frustrate Norman Jr., that they'll be able to frustrate him and work in a way that, like I say, will throw off Norman Jr. I'm sure that's what their game plan will be, right? And try and show him some things he hasn't seen yet in there. Because let's be honest, Haney, whatever we think about him, whatever we've seen, he's an athletic, he's a good fighter. He can get in there and do a lot of things. So I don't know, but is he going to do it on fight night? The Ramirez fight. I don't know what to say about that, man. Like, yeah, he can't come out like that because that ain't going to be it. But if we see Haney at his best, that'd be something different. I mean, I'd like to think that the money alone would motivate them if they're on a Riyadh season event. I mean, damn, man, how much you think they're going to get paid if His Excellency sponsors the fight, Johnny? What do you think they get paid each?
They're gonna get paid good
millions.
money.
Yeah,
life-changing money for B Norm, which I'm happy for him. He's a great dude. He deserves it. And along the lines of what Haney has made in the past, this is gonna be a good fight, man. But again, I don't want to get ahead of myself because I know boxing has pulled the what is the saying, man? When you sit down, they pull the chair out from under you.
Yes, man. Yeah, pull the rug out. Pull the rug out.
They pull the rug out from under you, man. I hate to be that guy, but boxing has hurt me in that fashion so many times. When I buy in, and then all of a sudden I get, kicked in the nuts. So let's see what happens. Again, a lot can happen in boxing within 24 to 48, 72 hours.
So true.
The good news is, guys, we got the champion tomorrow. So let's see what he got to say.
I can't wait.
timing is perfect, though. The timing is perfect, especially with what's going on with this whole, his dad and Haney shit. So, we'll cook it up, and see what happens, and take it from there. I mean, what else can we say? But I love the fight on paper. I think it needs to happen.
Who else you got on the line right now, Johnny? I can't see. I got my phone up to my.
B is on the panel.
Mikhail B, how you doing, bro? Listen, I'm gonna jump off. I don't know. I just wanted to jump on quick, and I know you're probably looking to finish up, Johnny. Listen, tomorrow we got the champ on. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm gonna send in some questions and catch you guys. See you later, Mikhail B. We'll see you guys later.
All right, bro.
Appreciate
See you later, Chad.
Shout out to Chad who comes out. He's working, bro. But he finds time to listen, bro, participate. He jumped on the panel for a little bit during his break, bro. That's what the Hangout Spot family member does, bro. Mikhail as well. Appreciate you, all the people that were on the panel. Let me catch up with these two super chats. So Stock Chasers again is back with a $2.
Give me a hell yeah.
He said Devin Haney in 12. Oh man.
Fucking depression.
Yeah, man, that's fucking depressing, bro. But nah, I appreciate that. It's gonna be a good fight. I'm telling you. I mean, Devin Haney is it's not gonna be an easy fight, but I don't know about that one, bro. H-Town is back with the $2. Yeah. The dream. We'll be dreaming in 5. Shh. Good night, Dev. That's what I'm talking about.
Give me a hell yeah.
Can Devin Haney take that left hook or whatever it is? Because Brian Norman Jr. is punching at 147, bro. And we saw how that worked out for Dev at 140 with Ryan. Again, I'm not going to hold him to that. We saw what happened with Ryan in the Osterine test, but I mean, he's going to have to be a very, very defensively responsible against Brian Norman Jr. That's all I got to say. Bugatti Mods is in the chat. I appreciate you, my brother. He said Haney got that jab, but that's it. It's a tremendous weapon, though. But again, it's all about cutting off the ring and pushing the pace. And the Normans have a good plan for it. Trust me. I've talked to Senior about that before he even came on the show. Low Nose Boxing is up in the chat. Appreciate you, my brother. You said they are clout chasing off Norman's name. Haney about to fight Ron Sates Bartholomew.
Fucking depression.
I hope not, bro. I hope not, because I want that fight for Norman Jr. I think it's a good fight, and it's also a big money fight. Like I said, I think he deserves it. Man, I appreciate all of y'all with all the super chats. Mikhail, let me know last minute thoughts, bro. What you think? Tomorrow, I think it's gonna be epic. Get the champ on.
No, definitely tomorrow's gonna be epic. Last minute thoughts, man. The Haneys have said a lot of names in the last month. That's my last minute thoughts. And you know what? Brian Norman is a hot name right now, so it makes sense for them to say that name. They've said Boots. They've said a lot of names. They come up with lists. It's been a lot of self-promotion. That's what they're supposed to do to get the biggest fight possible. So I think they're weighing their options. And I think I will repeat your sentiments. And I believe it when I see it.
So you don't give me your gut feeling. It happens or it doesn't happen?
Gut feeling. It doesn't happen.
Gotcha.
Not right now. Not right now.
That's actually my gut feeling too, although I don't want to speak it into fruition because I need to see it happen. But we will see, brother. We will see. Yeah, man, but I appreciate you jumping on the panel, bro.
You already know, bro.
All right, brother. That's my guy, Mikhail B. And man, what a great show. You know, it's funny because we started this this show with an interview with a young Mexican bantamweight prospect, 9-0 with 2 knockouts, Naomy Cardenas, who goes by the nickname Cusa, and she explained to us why she picked that nickname. I thought it was a phenomenal interview, man. I thought her English held up very, very well. She was very nervous before we started the show, before we went live, because, you know, her English isn't, you know, what she feels is up to par. But I thought she did a phenomenal job. We did have some background noise and stuff because she didn't have headphones. But I thought it was a really good interview, and I thought it was an interview that was necessary so that we can start to introduce these type of fighters, female fighters. We got to show the female fighters love. And she's coming off a really, really good, exciting win, a good performance against Bree Howling. 2 weeks ago at Caribbean where I was there. It was a great fight. The fans were engaged. It was the main event on a most valuable prospects card. It didn't disappoint. So when a manager and coach reached out to me to set it up, I didn't hesitate because, again, great personality. She can fight. And I want to see more for hopefully Jake Paul. Will sign her. He's signing a lot of females. Obviously, what he's doing for the sport of boxing when it comes to female fighters, I would love to see her get on that roster because she's exciting. She's must-see TV. Great interview. If you guys didn't get a chance to see that interview, make sure you check it out after the show. All of my shows go right on the YouTube, the Hangout Spot YouTube channel. You can check it out. You can be like Malcolm. He's the replay guy. He doesn't really watch the shows live because he's working, but he always replays and watches the show on replay and comments. That means a lot to me, my brother. He was also on the panel. I want to give a shout out to all the panel members today, bro. I mean, all the panel members today, bro. Y'all fucking cooked, bro. Y'all fucking cooked, bro. I mean, we had CJ Rich, who's becoming a regular. We had Malcolm jump on. We had H-Town. We had Tip Bayless jumped on for a while. Let's not forget my guy Chad, who be cooking up in here. He was on the panel. Stock Chasers. My brother from New York was on the panel as well. He be cooking, gave us a really good perspective. We talked about the whole elite conversation and the criteria, and we got 4 different criterias or 4 different categories. This is a conversation that we'll have to continue because we really didn't finalize on what we believe might be elite, but I do love Stock Chasers' take as well because it has to be the best of the best, right? It has to be something that is impossible or almost near impossible to reach, right? Or very, very hard to reach. Not near impossible because we've had fighters that have done it, but very, very hard to reach before you consider elite status. So I do appreciate, his take on it. And this is what we do here at the Hangout Spot, bro. Good conversations, dialogues. We don't need to be rude to each other, talk over each other. We don't need to agree. Everybody's going to have an opinion. We got to respect that. It's okay to disagree. We agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, we all got to remember we're family and we all have one common thing. We love fucking boxing, bro. And, having these conversations and trying to just talk shit into fruition. And, I think it's really, really good, man. I love it. I love this channel. I love doing it for you guys. Like I said before, one thing I can't question when it comes to elite is I got the most elite family members and followers here at the Hangout Spot, bro. Tomorrow again, we're cooking 8:30 instead of 9 p.m. We're going 8:30. The champ wanted to go a little bit earlier because I think he's got another interview or something going on later on in the evening. The Nigerian Nightmare. I saw your comments, brother, and I know you always rocking out. I appreciate you, my brother, for rocking out. You family. So we got the champion on, Brian Norman Jr. He will be on tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. So make sure y'all tap in. I will be putting a post out with the link to the show on my IG. If you guys haven't hit the like button, shame on you. If you haven't called somebody and be like, yo, come and subscribe to my man's channel, man. We trying to break barriers, man. We trying to turn his training into a locomotive. Shame on you. Make sure you do that. If you're watching this live on Facebook at millions.co, do that. We got merchandise on millions.co as well. If y'all rocking with the Norman Spot, get a t-shirt, bro, because we gotta unite, bro, because you know how it goes, bro. There may be a narrative that we push the Norman Spot against the Haney voice. There may be a narrative if that fight goes down. I'm just saying, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But shout out to Stock Chasers, Nigerian Nightmare in the chat. The Natural pulled up. Appreciate you, brother. H-Town is in the building. I appreciate you. Badger, my guy, Bugatti Mods, my brother. Thank you for the donations. Pound for Pound King came up. He was rocking out. Wheezy Clown was in the building. Lowe's Nose Boxing tapped in. So did Fight Hook News was up in here. My man Jay Calderon. Daddy Life. Great comments. Half Boxing was in the chat as well. Kicking in. My man Malcolm. Always representing the channel. My man Alberto was on here. CJ was on the panel. Damn, man, we had so many people check in here. Too many people to mention, but I just want to shout out all of y'all. Tomorrow we are back at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. KO King, I appreciate you. Toledo Trees also joined us for a little bit. Who else was up in here? Yeah, man. Great show. And nothing but great shows ahead next week. Attorney Bailey, I appreciate you as well, especially for jumping on and for the donations. Next week, we got Ladies Night, Tuesday night, where we're going to have a women's panel. The best of the best in women's podcasting are going to join us on the panel. It's going to join me. We're going to talk about the whole big Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, all-female card, and we're going to get their takes on all the big fights that are coming up with the males because they doing it up in their channels as well. And they talking boxing, not just females. So we're going to do that on Tuesday. We got referee extraordinaire Tony Weeks. He will be in the building next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're working on a couple of guests to kind of swing in between. So the hangout spot is where it's at. But as always, I appreciate the love and support from all of y'all. Nothing but love. This is your boy Johnny signing out from the hangout spot, and I'll talk to everybody tomorrow night, 8:30. Make sure y'all tune in. Peace.